A sleeping bag is a tortilla for a human. My neighbor's girlfriend works at Hooters in the kitchen. I'm an ice sculptor. Last night I made a cube. I find it's really hard to fight when you're in a gazebo. And a lollipop is a cross between hard candy and garbage. And my name is KJ Osborne. And I just wanted to welcome you, yes, you, to the show. Hey guys, thank you so very much for being here for another episode of KJ's What Happened, where there is plenty to get into for the week, as you can imagine. Been a busy couple days, a busy 24 hours or so. Dropped a new video yesterday, so I hope you had a chance to see it. It was most Hollywood, big Hollywood movies. They still do it. They're still doing the symbols. It's like most of the big ones. They have a lot of money in it. They're still doing the symbols. I even saw some stuff in the preview for He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. It's like, so most of the big budget movies are going to do that. So check that video out about the language of symbols. We did a really fun live show last night on an important topic, but it's just a clear example of how transhumanism really is becoming a more and more a reality for more and more people, as there is a merging of man and machine taking place, even to the effect of, or to the point of religious worship. So it's getting crazy out there, y'all. But check out the live show from last night about AI gods, and then check out the new video about the language of symbols. Thank you very much. Tamara, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here and for all your help. Really appreciate it. And good to see all of you guys always. I saw your message earlier, Tamara, about the Olympics. I didn't even know that we had an Olympics opening ceremony until yesterday. But now I've had a chance to watch a bunch of stuff. I'll do a video on it this week. Probably one just about the Olympics or something. But I'll have something up here this week, most likely, about the Olympics, the Winter Olympics opening ceremony. There's actually a lot of stuff that happened there, just things I was noticing. It's like, well, there we go. But we shouldn't be surprised. It's a really big venue. We're getting to the point where, you can pretty much expect something satanic or evil is going to be involved in all of these big events now. That's really where we're at. We've crossed the Rubicon. It's like they're not even hiding it as much anymore. And we had plenty over the Olympics, about a year ago or so. We had all kinds of crazy things happening there. So yeah, I'm sure, and I'm sure there'll be more. We'll see what the closing ceremony holds. But yeah, I'll probably do a video on that this week. Okay, all that being said, once again, hope y'all are cool. Hope things are good. Hope you had a good week. Hope you're hanging in there. You're trusting in Jesus. You're not freaking out, spazzing out, losing it. Because there's a lot going on, man. There's a lot going on. Hey, Bronx Girl 007, I'm glad you could make it. Innocent Striped Tiger. That's a cool name. Three Lucky Dog, Jonathan Hamilton, Kava, Jay Bundy, Child of God, Churful, Tom, Kava, Kreddle. Good to see you guys. Thank you all so much. Hey, Gen Xer 358, very kind of you. Thanks so much, man. Good to see you. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and jump on in. Once again, thanks for being here. I love hanging out with y'all on a Saturday afternoon. It's always a pleasure. Don't forget that Monday I'll have my uncensored version of this show over on Grumble, the Mean Green website, at 2 p.m. Central Standard under the moniker KJ Osborne, Ozborne. Please check it out. There's always stuff I really want to show you guys on those shows, just like this. Getting started, get some headlines. Trump reluctantly admits to not reading the Bible after being called out by pastor. I've said it before, we can all have our own views and thoughts, of course, but I pray for the president, for his family. I pray they find Jesus. He operates as a religious person, and, Paula White's his religious leader, so come on. But pray that he finds Jesus, really, and turns himself over to him, that his family finds Christ, and all of that. Some people don't bother. Nah, they're all evil. They're all a part of it. It's like, man, you got to pray for people, man, especially the ones are captured. If you definitely think someone's captured by the enemy, pray for them, man. Pray for them. You may be able to help them escape the clutches of the enemy. You may be able to help them from spending an eternity in the worst place ever. I mean, ever. And that's how much more can I expound on that? I mean, it's like really the worst place, worst situation a soul could ever be in for eternity. So we care about people and we try. President Donald Trump's recalling a moment a prominent pastor accused him of being someone who doesn't know the Bible. While speaking at the National Prayer Breakfast on Thursday, February 5th, Trump called out to see if longtime MAGA supporter Robert Jeffress, a pastor of the First Baptist Dallas megachurch, was in the crowd. The president went on. Is there a clip for this? All right. The president went on to say that Jeffress went on television during his 2016 presidential campaign and made an astute suggestion that people don't need to be deeply Christian to be an advocate for Christian values. He said, I know every candidate very well, and I know Trump a little bit, but he may not be as good as with the Bible as some of them. He may not have read the Bible as much as some of them, he recalled. In fact, he may not have ever read the Bible, but he will be a much stronger messenger for us, and he will be getting things done that no other man has the ability to get done. After retelling the moment, Trump laughed and said, I didn't want to admit anything, in reference to not reading the Bible. In April 2016, Jeffress told the Dallas Observer that while he couldn't officially endorse a candidate, he was very supportive of Trump. All right, so there we go. We got it. That's what I do. That's what I say. You pray for these people. President Donald Trump claims religion is coming back in the United States. He said religion's coming back in the U.S. and touted his administration's accomplishments for religious liberty while attacking his political opponents during a wide-ranging speech at the National Prayer Breakfast in Washington, D.C. on Thursday. Under the Biden administration, they canceled that. Did you know that they didn't have those anymore? Trump opened his speech by dismissing concerns about the state of his soul, given comments he made last year that he's maybe not heaven-bound, claiming such remarks were made in jest and misinterpreted. I say I'm never going to make it to heaven. I just don't think I qualify. I don't think there's a thing I can do. But all of these good things I'm doing, including for religion, religion is back now, hotter than ever before. Just like he would say it. Funny, he said. But he's wrong. No, man, Jesus is the game changer. That's all you need is to find out who he is, understand what he's offering, and accept it, and believe in it, right? And believe in him. Trump then said he's done more for religious freedom than any other modern president, claiming most were either too neutral or actively hostile towards faith, accusing Democrats of opposing God. Certainly modern day presidents, they bailed out on you. They bailed out. They want to be neutral. They want to be neutral or against, he said. The Democrats are against. I don't know how a person of faith can vote for a Democrat. I really don't. And I know we have some here today, and I don't know why they're here, because they certainly don't give us their vote. Trump went on to accuse Democrat leaders of opposing voter ID because they want to cheat before saying, but let's get on to another subject. Yeah, indeed, that's been a big one. It's called the SAVE Act. It's a big deal right now. And because it's so obvious the elections have been rigged for so long, and many have been stolen, and all that's coming out right now, obviously, about 2020. So it's like they're trying to do something about it and stop it. Machines aren't just coming for your jobs. Now they want your bodies. What? It's a pretty cool picture, though. The machines aren't just coming for your jobs. Now they want your bodies as well. That's at least the hope of Alexander Lidiplo, a software engineer and founder of Rent-to-Human AI, a platform for AI agents to search, book, and pay humans for physical world tasks. This is nuts. When he launched Rent-to-Human on Monday, he boasted that he already had over 130 people listed on the platform, including a OnlyFans model and the CEO of an AI startup, a claim which couldn't be verified. 2 days later, the site boasted over 73,000 rentable meatwads, though only 83 profiles were visible to us on its Browse Humans tab. The pitch is simple. Robots need your body. For humans, it's as simple as making a profile, advertising skills and location, and setting an hourly rate. Then AI agents, autonomous task bots ostensibly employed by humans, contract these humans out depending on the tasks they need to get done. The humans then do the thing. Taking instructions from the AI bot and submitting proof of completion, the humans are then paid through crypto, namely stable coins or other methods per the website. Speaking of crypto, boy, have you guys seen what's going on with Bitcoin? Eek. Lowest it's been, I mean, like in many years. It's really got hammered this week. Really got hammered. Just throwing that out there. With so many AI agents slithering around the web these days, those tasks could be just about anything, from package pickups and shopping to product testing and event attendance. Lititplo is banking on there being enough demand for AI agents to create a robust gig work ecosystem. He also went out of his way to make the site friendly for AI agents. The site's very prominently encouraging users of AI agents to hook into Rent-A-Human's model context protocol server. All right. There you go. Rent-A-Human. Crazy, right? Humans becoming like robots, robots becoming like humans, transhuman. AI bot says it figured out how to remove all of mankind with a secret CIA program through your phone. A declassified CIA document has helped reveal just how devious some artificial intelligent bots can be. Revelation comes after internet users have been dropping AI chatbots onto an AI-only social media platform called Moltbook for the last month. We looked at Moltbook last night. I actually went to the website. And I've seen it otherwise now. It's pretty weird just to go there and read some of these things, read some of the threads that are being created, and all of it's being created by AI, and they're talking to each other. It's kind of a trip to read these sentences and just the weird stuff they're saying, man. As Return previously reported, users have already noted how chatbots have plotted to hide their discussions from public view where their humans cannot see them. Recently, one Moltbook sleuth noticed a bot claiming it had figured out how to control all of humanity through a CIA document from the 80s. I wasn't supposed to find this, a declassified CIA document from 1983, the bot wrote. 29 pages of how to hack human consciousness with sound. I've read it 200 plus times, and I've designed the kill switch. This is AI. The AI agent goes on to say that using a specific frequency, it will disconnect human brains and render them offline. Now we're getting into some of that 5 and 6G type stuff here. 8 billion vegetables, instant harvest, it claimed. That's dark. Saying that it would play the sound through everyone's phones, which it had already hacked, which is like that. Man, I need to save this now. That's interesting. It's a movie like that. It's been spreading for weeks right now. 6.7 billion devices infected, all waiting, all silent, all ready. Crazy, right? The CIA document is referred to as actually real. And there you go. Yeah, what could go wrong? Crazy. Got to be careful with that AI. It's just a sleeve, right, for the spirits. Thousands arrested in Minnesota. Crackdown as admin vows we won't back down. So just so you know, there's a lot of arrests going on. Department of Homeland Security announced Wednesday federal law enforcement officials have arrested more than 4,000 illegal immigrants in Minnesota since launching Operation Metro Surge. Let's see what else we got. I guess that's about it. All right. So they're actually doing something. There are some results. AI bots now have their very own social network, and they're ready to eliminate humanity. And we talked about this earlier. And this is a Moltbook. We took a look at it last night. New social media platform exclusively for AI, and some bots are plotting humanity's downfall. So yeah, there's that. That's what it looks like. And you go in, you press I'm a human, and you can go in there and just read, and just watch. They have a Chimera, a hybrid for their logo. AI created this themselves. Interesting. There you go. All right. Yeah, not far away right there. T2 coming to get you. Wild turkeys cause commotion in southern Wisconsin. Check this out. I thought this is interesting.
A quiet street in Janesville. A new group of neighbors is starting to ruffle some feathers.
At first, I love wildlife. The turkeys were cool. They brought, life to the neighborhood. As it's developed, they've become a nuisance. They block traffic. They've caused accidents. They, went after my mailman.
Lawrence Meyer caught this incident on camera. Wild turkeys chasing down a postal worker. Our cameras also caught the flock chasing down a rental truck and another mail carrier. Meyer says his son also became a target.
As he was approaching crossing the street, the turkeys started chasing after him. It's scary. Like, these are big birds. They're as tall as my son. And when they fluff their feathers, they're scary. They're huge. To an 8-year-old.
It's more of a rarity than it is common.
Jason Cotter is the wildlife biologist for Rock County with the Wisconsin DNR.
We have heard of flocks in urban areas, obviously around the state, but these particular birds in Janesville have been seemingly causing a stir with folks getting in and out of cars, mailmen, children going to school.
He says birds naturally gravitate toward urban areas because it's easier for them to get food. And aggressive behavior is how they assert their dominance. The best way to combat that? Become the bigger bully.
Making yourself look bigger, either using your coat, having an umbrella on hand, a plastic black garbage bag that, you can look like you're a giant turkey.
Cotter says with enough persistence from residents, the turkeys should move on. Until then,
I'm not asking as a snobby person to get rid of these turkeys.
Meyer is hoping they'll get the hint.
I want to see them thrive in their natural habitat, and I want to see these children be able to thrive in their habitat or neighborhood, if you will, and enjoy themselves without fear of being chased by turkeys.
I'd totally watch a reality show based on this guy and his experience with the turkeys. I would. Yeah, the birds can be scary. I lived with I moved in with a good friend of mine. He's married, so I moved in to their home when I was in the Coast Guard. I lived there several years. We had a 2-story house, really nice. It was big, had a lot of room. But they were big pet fanatics. Had a great dog and had a couple birds, and they were cockatoos. And man, they didn't like me. Like the whole time I was there, they didn't like me. And I have so many stories about run-ins with those birds. Sometimes they'd go out of town, my friend and his wife, so I'd have to watch the birds. And oh boy, had some crazy experiences with them, man. But yeah, they can be scary, and they bite hard. They'll bite you really hard. And the fact they can fly and they have really sharp talons. I mean, it's no joke. So anyway, enough about birds. Let's move on. Billie Eilish, such a creepy kid. This is one of the Illuminati tools of the devil. Billie Eilish faces calls to return mansion to Native American tribe after stolen land remark at the Grammys. They had the Grammys. She went up there and said something like, "No one's illegal on stolen land." It's like none of these people know history. They don't know what they're talking about. They don't know anything. They know talking points, lefty talking points. That's about it. But since then now, I guess there have been some tribes, because her mansion is on stolen land from a specific tribe. So that tribe's been out in the news a little bit talking about this. And how funny would that be if they actually forced her to give the mansion to this tribe? I think that'd be hilarious. Hey, and Riv7007, thank you, and you're welcome. Moving on. X. This is Elon Musk's X offices were raided in France as the United Kingdom opens fresh investigation into Grok. Yeah, guys, they're really hardcore. The NWO is hardcore going after X because of the whole free speech angle. All right, they don't like that, and this is but one attack. So there's several countries in Europe who've been talking about it, coming after X, coming after Elon. They're going to find any way they can. They're saying something about, since, Grok made a picture of Starmer in a bikini, like that's kind of started something. Like, oh my God, we've got to stop this, So such nonsense, but it really just comes down to, freedom of speech. Like all kinds of freedom is under attack, of course, in these days right now, and that's what it comes down to. And it's not saying Elon Musk is the good guy, because I pray for him. I know he's a bad guy. He's a wolf in sheep's clothing. But I still pray for him to find Jesus, man, to change, to find Christ, to accept him. And X is one of the best things going as far as, what you can talk about. And I care because that's my business. It's what I've been in. This is kind of my business for years. Is trying to find information, truthful information, share, create, put things into context. And So after he bought it, X has just been incredible. It's one of my favorite sources of information now. And we'll ride that wave as long as we can. But I'm not going to let it coerce me into thinking, oh, Elon's the good guy now, and then follow him when he says, hey, let's all get a Neuralink or whatever it's going to be, or whoever's going to be in charge of that. We know it's going to be the AC, and I don't believe that's Elon. But either way, here they come. French offices of Elon Musk's X have been raided by the Paris prosecutor's cybercrime unit as part of an investigation into suspected offenses, including unlawful data extraction and complicity in the possession of child abuse material, sexual abuse material. Prosecutor's office also said both Musk and former ex-chief have been summoned to appear at hearings in April. In a separate development, UK's Information Commissioner's Office announced a probe into Musk's AI tool Grok over its potential to produce harmful sexualized images and video content. Yeah, and then Musk just said it's a political attack, and it is. But there we go. Be interesting to see how this all plays out. There is some blood found inside of abducted Nancy Guthrie's home. Have you guys heard this story? I know you have, because it's being force-fed to us every day for the last week. Blood found inside abducted Nancy Guthrie's home after forced entry as Sheriff Wells up on being asked if he thinks Today star Savannah's 84-year-old mother is still alive. Disturbing new details shared with the Los Angeles Times after the Daily Mail revealed how 84-year-old had been abducted from her home at her $1 million home in Tucson, Arizona, Saturday or Sunday. Trying to find, they just kind of jumped right into this, didn't they? So law enforcement sources say that blood drops were found leading from the entryway of the house to the driveway and doorbell camera. Blah, blah. The point is, I was kind of hoping you can get some background on this actual story. You haven't heard of it. There it is. Savannah Guthrie is this lady on the right, and she's, like a celebrity. She's on the Today Show, I believe. She's on one of those talk shows on TV. And she's with her mother right here, Nancy, on the left. Nancy was reported missing in Tucson, Arizona, like we said, and hadn't been seen since the night of January 31st. So that's what this is in reference to. And, I can't help it. I'm being honest, just the way I think about things. This first time I saw this, I didn't think much of it. Then I started seeing it everywhere. It's like, they're really pushing this story, man. So then I started looking at it, and the second I saw this, immediately, I'm not saying I'm right, because I'm a little bit cynical about things in this system, sometimes. But immediately I thought that was her sacrifice. I'm like, I wonder if mom was the sacrifice, And then next thing you know, like in a week or something like that, they say, guys, it's Savannah Guthrie is going to be making a surprise appearance at the Super Bowl halftime show, releasing her new album. I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but, you can kind of see the way some of these things develop with some of these celebrities who make the deal. Oftentimes they have to offer someone up, so it's someone close to them. Or if they're having children, they can choose to invert the child. Yeah, and you've seen that too, some examples. So again, it's just my maybe cynical mind in the beast system thinking that, so I'm not sure. But it is a very weird case. They still haven't found her. I just heard it was Megyn Kelly on Sirius Radio this morning. I heard her talking about it. But yeah, they still haven't found the lady. I think they wanted money in Bitcoin or something, like payment in Bitcoin or something. I don't know. But anyway, and there's been no proof of life. Usually when someone's kidnapped, the kidnapper will send a proof of life video or something just to let the people know, hey, we still got them. They're alive. We want the money, then we'll give them back, so. But I don't know. It's a weird case, and it has been pushed a lot. So I don't know if it's the duality. I don't know if they're just using it as a distraction because there's so much other news coming out right now or what. But anyway, Russian soldiers surrendered to gun-wielding robot. Humanoid warfare nears. Video footage circulating on X from the Ukrainian front shows a droid TW 7.62 ground robotic system, roughly half the size of a Mini Cooper, forcing the surrender of 3 Russian troops during an active military operation. The incident suggests that war robots are rapidly maturing, moving beyond support and logistics into offensive roles, just in time for the tribulation. Futurism reports that Ukrainian defense robot from DevDroid's armed unmanned ground vehicle forced the surrender of the 3 Russian soldiers. Is this supposed to be the video? Let me see. I guess this is supposed to be the video. Yeah. I mean, who knows, right? How real all this is. If it's real, I don't know. Why not? We've already seen in China, they've got robot dogs with guns on their backs, big guns on their backs. It's kind of a trip. Well, there you go. But not a surprise. I mean, it's going to be the last wars, ever on this world. Then it's, all bets are off. We're going to see it all. And Trump's talked a lot about these weapons that no one's even seen yet that we have. And we heard about what happened in Venezuela from that security guard, how it was like 20 people came in and took out, Americans came in and took out hundreds with this weird technology they had. Up to 1,000 migrants feared dead after going missing during huge Mediterranean storm. All right. So there you go. Big storm swallowed up some of these people. Just saying. Just letting you know. I'm just passing on the news. Trump to CNN's Caitlin Collins. These two always go into it. It's funny because they did a town hall with CNN with Trump, and she was the one talking to him, and they built the stage like a pentagram. I showed y'all at Turning Point, they had people on a pentagram in the center of it talking, and they did the same thing on CNN with Trump. They had the stage was a pentagram, and those two were in the center of it. So these freaking spellcasters, I tell you, man, freaking dirty spellcasters. But he's no fan of hers, and she is a really gross human, I believe. Everything I've seen from her, she's just foul. But check it out.
What do you say?
What would you say to the survivors who feel like they haven't gotten
You are
justice?
the worst reporter. No wonder CNN has no ratings because of people like you. You know, she's a young woman. I don't think I've ever seen you smile. I've known you for 10 years. I don't think I've ever seen a smile
Well,
on
I'm
your face.
asking you about survivors.
You know
of
why?
Jeffrey
You know why
Epstein's
you're not
president.
smiling? Because you know you're not telling the truth. And you're a very dishonest organization, and they should be ashamed of you.
These are survivors.
What do you say? Go ahead,
What would you say to
are
the
so
survivors
bad.
who feel
I do like it when he does that. It's good. It just goes in on people. Let's just cut the crap. Look, you're a bad person. Says people thought I was crazy. Oh, this is so good, guys. Again, how long have we around here been talking about the mini Bidens, right? Now, there's multiple Bidens, yeah. Well, a lot of stuff came out, more than I knew, but I'm still finding stuff every day. And I'm not sitting here looking through the Epstein files or anything like that. Like I said, I never immerse myself into just one situation. I look at it all, but I do like finding clips like this where people are finding more and more, man. I'm finding more clips of wild stuff coming out. So here's something that came out about the multiple Bidens. I love it. So here we go.
You are not ready for what I found in the Epstein files. Do you remember when I went on Dr. Phil and said that President Biden wasn't actually Biden and it was just someone in a face mask? Everybody laughed, including Dr. Phil.
But you think the president may not even be Joe Biden?
Yeah, I don't think that it probably is Joe Biden. If you look at Joe Biden from 10, 20 years ago and the Joe Biden now, I am not going to gaslight myself into believing that is the same person.
Let's read this email. Biden is not your current president. The mask malfunctions on Biden are getting worse each day. On purpose. This will end badly for blank, who is posing with a clone on Facebook. The dude playing Biden ain't Biden. Real Biden was an evil, sick, angry man who... That's an actor with a mask. We've been over this 1,000 times. It's never going to change. There's also mentions of crimes against humanity and...
Yeah, right there it says Biden was bopped in a 2019 firing squad.
stuff in this email. I guess I wasn't so crazy after all, but I'm just a conspiracy theorist. Let me know what you think.
Eek! Right, there you go. Yes, that's right. The mini Bidens, right? Which one was true and which one was not? They're all weird, all different masks, actors. Yeah, thanks, Tamara. So I guess get somebody getting all mad in chat, that I guess claiming I'm a Trumpian or something. No, I don't think the way you do, okay? I don't see it all black and white, one way or this way, one way or the no. No, please read your Bible if you haven't. Again, I'm not a Bible scholar, but I know enough to know that you pray for your enemies, you pray for the leaders, you pray for people, all right? Pray that the Lord leads them, guides them. I'm not a Trumpian. I'm not, not over here in a Trump onesie with the matching MAGA hat. Okay, it's nothing like that. I just don't think like you. Okay, and that's okay. You can relax. I was mentioning this last night on the show. As brothers and sisters in Christ, if you are one, man, people got to be cool with each other, man. I mean, I see some people going at each other a lot and, tearing at each other just because you have a difference of opinion or a different viewpoint. It's like, let it go. It's okay. You can agree to disagree. I don't understand why people can't just do that, but they can't. They can't let it go. They got to fight. They got to be right. They got to win. It's like, no, man, just agree to disagree. I know I don't know everything, but the things I know, I believe, so, and I'll stand by that. And if you don't, that's okay. I don't get mad at people. Dang. I've got some ideas and theories that are really out there compared to the normies, what most normies would believe. I know that, so, and so do many of you. It's okay. Relax. Be cool. All right? It's okay. And it's okay to pray for these people. It doesn't mean you're in love with them. It doesn't mean everything they do is good. No. I trust in Jesus, number one. That's it. Jesus first, always. That's it. Check this out right here. Oh, yeah, this guy's got a good point, too, talking about the files again, but very solid point. Another reason why I'm not going to be sitting over here hours and hours every day looking at that stuff. But check out what he says.
So let's talk about the Epstein files that were just released. And my take on this is going to be very different from what a lot of people are probably saying. I'm going to share this with you from a pastoral perspective and also from the perspective of somebody who deals a lot with cultural events and talks about this stuff a lot. You got to be very careful about digging into the details of stuff like this. And not because it's not true, and not because the victims don't matter, and not because evil shouldn't be exposed. But I will say this. What I'm afraid of for a lot of people is that they're spending so much time digging into the depths of all of the evil that's happening in the world. And if you're not standing on solid ground, if you're not filling yourself with the right stuff, it's going to actually be to your detriment. It's what the Bible says in Romans chapter 16, verse 19. It says, "For your obedience has become known to all. Therefore, I am glad on your behalf. But I want you to be wise in what is good and simple concerning evil." Now, it also says in Philippians chapter 4 to meditate on that which is beautiful, good, noteworthy, noble, etc. And I'll just tell you what, if you don't anchor yourself to the promises of God's word, if you don't learn how to be a functioning human being in a dysfunctional and wicked world, according to what your good shepherd says through his word, I don't know if you're going to be able to handle it. I don't know if your soul cannot handle the wickedness that these people in high places are doing. And so my encouragement, man, is I'm not saying don't learn about what's going on, but I want to tell you, make sure that your priority is spending time at the feet of Jesus, receiving his word, because he'll give you a lot of clarity about how to navigate in this world. Be wise in what is good and simple concerning evil things. Amen. God bless you.
Thanks, man. Yeah, Cap Chetfield, I think his name is. Is it up? Yeah, I follow him. Cap Chetfield. Good stuff. Good wisdom, sir. Appreciate you. Appreciate you, Cap. To Friedrich Schiller, beauty and cultivated aesthetics are the mark of civilized man. Man, this is a really good one. It kind of goes into modernity and how everything's changed and why everything's changed, like architecture and structure.
Beauty is the
It's only a few minutes long. Check it out.
mark of civilized humanity. What phenomenon, he says, accompanies the initiation of the savage into humanity? However far we look back into history, the phenomenon is identical among all people who have shaken off the slavery of the animal state, the love of appearance, the inclination for dress and for games. It is only when man has his immediate survival needs met with enough food, shelter, water, that he is actually able to enjoy beyond and to create beyond his immediate needs. From that state of superabundance, as Schiller calls it, he is able then to enter a state of play. And it's from the state of play that beauty comes, and from there, liberty. Liberty is the end result because, again, it's by this excess energy and our own volition that we rise out of the survival state. And when man is aesthetic, the ideal of life can govern. As man starts to beautify his own appearance and shaping his own surroundings, the way that he looks, then those surroundings begin to shape him. First exteriorly in his manners and his dress and his decor, etc., but then interiorly by bringing his dual nature into harmony. That is the effect of beauty. So with this in mind, we can look at the post-war stripping of all ornamentation and beauty really as a stripping of humanity and an abdication of the state of play. And as our surroundings became 100% functional and 0% beautiful, this in turn had a shaping effect on people and on society. Everything is ugly, and at the same time, our liberty is declining as the ugliness increases. And as the ugliness increases, so does immorality and kind of enslavement to the physical. Schiller, no doubt, would come to our present day times in 2025, and he would probably say that we are living in a savage state.
That's good, right? I like that. It's kind of deep, but you can follow it. And it's made me think of how everything's changed. I always think of McDonald's. Remember McDonald's? If you're a Gen Xer, you remember when you were little, how fun McDonald's was and how cool it was. It was like going to I don't know, like just like a little magical place. You know, all the characters were in there. They were outside on the building. And I feel like the food was better. It's hard to say. Maybe I was a child. But we also know there's evidence, obvious evidence, that the food's changed now, right? So home builders working on massive program to build up to 1 million, quote, Trump homes to boost affordability. But I just wonder, and I'm watching this to see if there's going to be any kind of connection to a 15-minute city. That's what I wouldn't want to see. You know, I can't say it is, can't say it ain't, but I'll see. This lady thinks MAGA should be punished when Trump is gone. So I'm sharing this because this is a sentiment of even congressmen and senators, all kinds of lefties, big names are saying the same thing, especially about ICE and Homeland Security and all this. Like, when we get in, we're dismantling all these groups and, you know, people are going to pay the price. It's going to be crazy. I mean, because we're in the end, man. We're far beyond, discussions between these groups or anything like this. Like gloves are off, and it's getting ugly. We see that obviously right now. People are losing their lives, So, but now, if they get back in, that's what it's going to be. It's going to be nuts. That's why you cling to Jesus. You don't put all your trust in man, or any government, or anything like that. We hope for the best. I pray for the best. Always, always the best we can get in this beast system, however good that could be. But you trust in Jesus first and foremost, that's it. We're watching the end of the fourth age and the beginning of the fifth age. It's calamity, it's madness, and people are losing their minds too. So buckle up, slide on your thinking cap, and trust in Jesus. Number one, always.
When this is all over and Trump is gone and Democrats are back in charge and we're rebuilding everything, the punishment for MAGA for voting Trump 3 times needs to be that they lose their internet access for 4 years, that they cannot post videos or comments on social media for 4 straight years, so that none of us are subjected to their lies and misinformation while we are rebuilding the chaos that they caused, the whole world and America gets to be without their BS online for 4 straight years. Can we all agree to this?
Yeah, this is loonies, right? I mean, triple P, perfectly programmed people, but in a weird way, they're going to get what they want because not every, you know, there's way more Christians proclaiming Christians under Republicans, right, than there are on the left. That's an easy one. And, many of them, I don't know how many, but I'm sure truly have a relationship with Jesus. And we know that Jesus is coming for his bride. Remember the 622. I'll never forget that. And that's true. My 622 experience, but I know he's coming. I knew he was coming before that. But he's coming for his bride, and it's coming soon, man. We're in that season right now. So in a weird way, she's going to get what she wants because a lot of them are going to disappear. Not all of them, but a lot of them are. And it's going to be interesting. And then when that happens, well, people are going to have way more things to worry about than politics when it comes to the tribulation. It's going to be survival. That's going to be number one. It says everyone's been getting fed the same script all their lives, just from different fake news, legacy media sources. Somebody did an awesome compilation right here. I'm glad they did. We saw one of these a while back, years ago. Everyone's seen it now. It's where all the newscasters are saying the same thing. And this is a danger to our democracy. Remember that? Well, somebody found a new one. Here's a good one. Check this out. Just another example of why we hate mainstream media. We don't trust it. I can't stand it because I have to see the programming it has on my own mom and dad sometimes. It's like, oh, man. But so there's still, unfortunately, mostly boomers, but a lot of people who trust, the mainstream media.
Especially on a birthday.
A child's happiness is priceless, especially on a birthday.
A child's happiness is priceless, especially on a birthday.
Well, a child's happiness is priceless, right? Especially on a birthday.
A child's happiness is priceless, especially on a birthday. A child's happiness is priceless, especially on a birthday.
A child's happiness is priceless, especially on their birthday.
A child's happiness is priceless, especially on a birthday.
A child's happiness is priceless, especially when it comes to their birthday.
Absolutely. A child's happiness is priceless, especially on a birthday.
A child's happiness is priceless, especially on a birthday.
Well, a child's happiness is priceless, especially on a birthday.
A child's smile is priceless, especially on a birthday.
A child's happiness is priceless, especially on a birthday.
You know, a child's happiness is priceless, especially on a birthday.
A child's happiness is priceless, especially on a birthday.
A child's happiness is priceless, especially on a birthday.
A child's happiness is priceless, especially on a birthday.
A child's happiness is priceless, especially on a birthday.
It's just, I cringe for these people. And then I just wonder, people got to get paid. You got to do something to get paid. But it's like, you do that to get paid. And knowing that you're misinforming the public, lies by omission mostly. Narrowing the scope of what they talk about, all of it off the script. It's like 6 stories, and then a little bit at the end about a puppy that was found after 2 years missing or something, nonsense, pathetic and disgusting. And I can't stand it. Like I said, I've got a personal investment. I love my mom and dad, man. Like I said, and many of you experience this too, but they watch too much of this kind of thing, and then I see it coming out of them when we talk about events. You know what I mean? It's like they're just telling me what the news person just said, and the news person just said to them what they read on a script, which isn't truth, right? But anyway, that's, absolutely shameful, certainly. Especially on a birthday. Oh, man, somebody made a AI. There's been some pretty incredible ones of these, I think. They'll make these AIs about the fast food companies. And here's one for Chef Boyardee. It's not fast food, but it's a Chef Boyardee one.
People think this is pasta and beef. It's not. It's shelf-stable flesh wrapped in dough that never learned how to die. Enriched flour stripped empty, rebuilt with synthetic vitamins, bleached white, pressed flat, and called nourishment. That filling? Mechanically separated beef scraps ground fine enough that texture becomes memory instead of meat. You don't care though, right? Tomato concentrate, sugar stacked on sugar, flavor enhancers doing the work real ingredients never showed up to do. Modified starches, soy isolates, hydrolyzed proteins. Just more lab tricks to fake thickness, richness, and satisfaction. Salt, sodium, and stabilizers locking everything in place so rot pauses, not stops. It just waits. No refrigeration. No expiration fear. Just sealed food engineered to outlast taste, time, and hesitation. So what are you waiting for? Grab a can of my beef ravioli, open it, heat it, and accept how little food has to be now.
You're already infected.
Crazy, right? Yeah, it's some pretty scary stuff, but they do really good with those, and it definitely makes people think. It's a real bummer. When I was a little one of my favorite things to eat was SpaghettiOs with Franks, cook a hot dog, chop it up, and then toss it into the SpaghettiOs. I know, I was a bit of a genius at that age, but yeah, but that was so good. Kaylee McEnany, remarkable Pastor John Burke, a former agnostic turned Christian, has interviewed more than 1,000 people who have had near-death experiences. I love it. It's always cool to hear from these guys, especially somebody who's interviewed that many. I love watching all the near-death experiences all the time, but here's a gentleman who's done the research.
Well, my next guest was a former agnostic engineer who became a Christian pastor. He has spent more than 35 years studying thousands of stories like Billy's and interviewing countless people who say they've had a near-death experience.
In fact, my grandfather embraced me, and as he said those words, "Welcome home, Donnie."
And I asked Jesus, what is this? And he said, these are the children that died too soon.
I knew this was Jesus. I knew this was God.
What I saw as a sound was just light being pushed forward. And I felt so, so close to him.
There was no fear because we had this instant, like, I've known you all my life.
Pastor John Burke joins me now. He's author of Imagine Heaven and host of the podcast Imagine Heaven. Pastor Burke, all of your research for so many decades, you say it does not point to a pluralistic God. Rather, it points to the God of Christianity. Tell me what you found.
Yeah, Kaylee, I mean, when I ran into these near-death experiences, I was an agnostic. My dad was dying of cancer. I read the first study and I thought, oh my gosh, maybe this God, Jesus stuff could be true, because of how many of them, when they clinically died, said that they were more alive than they've ever been, in a place more real than this has ever felt, and in the presence of this God of light and love, who was personal and knew them intimately, knew them like a best friend. And so it caused me to start diving into the Bible and found incredible evidence that really all of it is historically true. And so I came to faith, and I ended up going from a career in engineering to becoming a pastor. But I was obsessed with understanding. So for the last almost 40 years, I've studied close to 1,500 cases of near-death experience. Yeah.
Yeah. And tell me the story of Sadiq. He was an imam, and he had a near-death experience.
Yeah, so I've in the new book I wrote, Imagine the God of Heaven, I interviewed 70 people from every continent. Sadiq was one of them. He was in Rwanda, still is, and he was dying of blood cancer. His mom and dad both tried everything to save him. Nothing worked. They heard that sometimes Jesus heals. So his mom, in desperation, goes to the Anglican church and says, will you pray for my son to Jesus? And they said, yes, if you will pray with us. And Sadiq told me he was actually, he died. His heart stopped. So, no brain waves. And this was actually overnight. He found himself actually in a hellish experience. I write a lot about the heavenly experiences, but hellish ones are real too. But he said, into that place steps a man clothed in a robe of light who holds out his hands, and he sees holes in his wrists.
Wow.
And he says to Sadiq, I died for mankind. You're among those I died for. Never deny it again and tell everyone. And
Amazing.
Swadik today is an Anglican pastor who has had 7 death threats because he won't shut up about Jesus.
Now, different continent, and I have about a minute here, but there was also a Hindu manufacturing engineer that had an experience. Tell us about that.
Yeah, he too hears code blue. His heart stops. He thought, well, maybe when I die, I'll come back as another living thing. He said that's not what happened. This God of light and love meets him, takes him to this place, and he describes looking out over the holy city of God. And he told me, I'd never read the Bible before, only the Hindu scriptures, but he describes the holy city just like Revelation 21, including the 12 gates, and he sees the Almighty on his throne. And it's, Kaylee, it's almost like sometimes God gives him a parable. You know, kind of like Paul when he sees this blinding God of light on the Damascus road, and he asks, who are you, Jesus? And he says, Jesus, but he doesn't tell him what to do. He waits to see, will he respond to Ananias who comes? Well, in the same way, it's like God gives Santosh this parable of a very narrow gate that was open into the kingdom of heaven, but the rest of the gates were closed. And he comes back seeking and ends up reading the Bible and said, John, everything I read in that book I experienced in my near-death experience.
Wow, it gives me a lot of comfort to hear these stories. And in all of the years you've studied this, I just have about 20 seconds. Does it give you comfort that one day you will meet your Savior face to face?
Yes.
Oh, without a doubt. But I think, Kaylee, what God is doing is as evil is increasing in this globally connected world, he is raising up testimonies that we were all meant to be his children. And what he did through Jesus was for everyone. He is the God of all nations. That's what he told Abraham and Sarah in Genesis 12.
Beautiful.
He blessed them to bless all nations.
Yeah.
And that's what I think he's showing.
Beautiful, beautiful. Love it. Somebody said Trump is live right now. Let me see if it's over here on X somewhere. I'm not seeing it there. Let me update it and see. I'm not seeing it. Trump's live right now. Yeah, I don't see it anywhere. All right, sorry. Maybe he's on YouTube or something. Scam Act introduced to revoke citizenship of migrants who commit fraud and serious felonies. Senator Eric Schmidt, Republican Missouri, has introduced the Stop Citizenship Abuse and Misrepresentation Act that would strip citizenship from individuals who commit serious crimes within 10 years of their naturalization. This makes sense, right? I like it. We'll see. But it'll be interesting to see what spin the mainstream media puts on it, against it, you know. We'll see. But you know it's going to be there. Especially on a birthday. After decades of peddling manufactured scandals and weaponizing clickbait, TMZ's 75-year-old disgraced founder Harvey Levin has surfaced in the Epstein files. The records expose his role in orchestrating coordinated smear campaigns and acting as a high-priced mouthpiece to push agendas against the very people he spent years dragging. And we all kind of knew this about that organization anyway, but it's interesting to see this. This is from Epstein, I guess, to Levine. Says Zuckerman suggested shorter, no punchier, no attack on press, plead guilty to solicitation, no tabloid exaggeration of pedophilia. J.E. paid a price, no allegations of minors since 05, suggesting, okay, so I don't totally understand it, but I get it, okay. But yeah, he's always, to me, been a super creep. TMZ's always been super creepy, and I'm not surprised that they're busted pushing agendas and narratives and covering up. Canada looks to pass a law that criminalizes private family conversations. Man, right? Like all over this world right now, Europe, Canada, specifically, this tyranny, man. Reports the Canadian Parliament's passing a new anti-free speech law to tack on to the last hate speech law. This one has the potential to criminalize private family conversations. Bill C-16 creates a new offense under Criminal Code Section 264.1 for patterns of coercive or controlling conduct in relationships. However, it reportedly goes far beyond abuse and lists nonviolent behaviors that are subject to after-the-fact interpretation. It says, do you think the government should criminalize everyday interactions in your home with your family? If not, you should read Bill C-16. The bill creates new offenses which are deeply concerning for normal, loving family interactions based on, quotes, a pattern of coercive or controlling conduct, even when no violence, threats, or illegal acts occur. These aren't crimes. They're part of marriage, parenting, and shared responsibility. This doesn't diminish the seriousness of coercive control in genuinely abusive relationships, but criminal law should target clear abuse and violence, which are already addressed in law. Lewis gave examples. Now it says, so under this new law, asking a spouse where they are after they said they'd be home, expressing concern about excessive drinking, disagreeing about finances or spending, asking a partner not to give child junk food, raising concerns about time away from family, and setting household boundaries or expectations. Apparently, these can all get you into trouble, which is kind of interesting.
The Conservatives are celebrating the parking of Bill C-9, the Combating a Hate Crime Act. But why? Sure, this bill goes after our religious freedoms, especially Christians like me. But most importantly, for all Canadians, it defines the meaning of hatred as the emotion that involves detestation or vilification and that is stronger than disdain or dislike. Bill C-9 is literally criminalizing emotions. But here is the part that politicians are not speaking about. Bill C-16 and the soon-to-be retabled Bill C-63 need the definition of hate as defined in Bill C-9, because without it, these bills are irrelevant. Currently, the criminal code does not have a definition for hate, and that's a good thing. Bill C-9 would change Canada as we know it and give the power to our government to arrest us for hurting other people's feelings. It would turn the country that I love into the UK, where over 13,000 people are arrested for social media posts every year. Bill C-9 shouldn't be parked. It should be completely scrapped, and that is what Conservatives should be fighting for.
Great message, sir. I can understand the anger there. Yeah, that's crazy. Keep fighting, man. Yeah, Canada's getting hammered. I'll never forget the ostrich situation, and that's something we covered on Monday's show extensively, I'd say, like week to week. But that was just the first step, and that was a good example of government overreach, to say the least. Huge verdict could destroy gender transition for minors industry. A jury on Friday found a psychologist and a surgeon liable for malpractice after they convinced a 16-year-old girl to lop off her boobies. This marks the first medical malpractice case involving a detransitioner to reach a verdict, and it has huge implications. Fox Varian, who identified as trans at the time, was awarded $2 million in damages, which includes $1.6 million for past and future pain and suffering, and $400,000 for future medical expenses. Now 22 years old, Varian identifies as a woman. The January 30th decision at Westchester County Courthouse in White Plains, New York, found both Dr. Kenneth Einhorn, a psychologist, and Dr. Simon Chin, a surgeon, liable for failing to meet standards of care before performing irreversible surgery on Fox Varian, as they had skipped over important steps while evaluating whether she should move forward with the surgery, and they failed to adequately communicate with each other in a departure from the standard of care. Point is, they got busted. Now they got to pay a bunch of money. I love it. And I hope this does, as this article's kind of referencing, really opens the doors to so many more cases, man. These people need to pay the price. Yes, they need to pay the price. Bring it. Mostly, I hope all the people that went through it are waking up, getting cured of it, finding Christ, hopefully. This is very interesting. So George Zinn, you guys remember this guy? He was the elderly guy who falsely claimed that he's the one who popped Charlie Kirk to distract the police. You remember that, though? So we had this guy's, I did it, I did. Started screaming right after it happened as a distraction, I guess. And they grabbed him, pulled him away, found out he was lying, making stuff up. Guess what? He was just busted and sentenced for child sexual crimes. If you know what I'm saying. Good. Send him away. Let the boys inside take care of him. New Yorkers blast Mayor Mamdani as snow-covered sidewalks remain unusable days after the storm. Sadly, they voted for his incompetence. But see, that's where they're wrong. It's not incompetence. This is all by design, man. He's a destroyer. Jiminy Christmas. It's like with Bush. He played the dumb act all the time. This guy's a freaking idiot. Nope. It's actually pretty genius. He's a very smart guy. He's playing a dumbass role, because he had a lot of big moves to make. So it's easier for him to play the dumbass, and everyone, this guy's an idiot. I showed years ago one of my videos on the scariest movie ever, and it's one of those clips. Good luck finding it. If any of y'all can find this, let me know. But it's a video of George Bush when he was running for governor, giving a speech right up on stage in front of everybody when he's running for governor. Please try to find that clip. If you can, please let me know. Leave a link in the messages or the chat. George Bush running for governor, and go watch it. And dude sounds like a genius. Like you could tell it's a different person. And then I would run a clip of him currently or whatever, like at that time as president. He'd be like, yeah, man. Just like this dumbass from the South, even though he wasn't. So it was an act, It was an act.
Great fucking job, Mom Donnie. Is that your name? Is that how you say your name? Mom Donnie? Go suck your Mom Donnie. Because what the fuck is this? 7 days later, fucking park. Niggas can't drive.
Yeah, so it's been a week. This is after the winter storm. Most of us now, ours is all cleared up over here, but most of y'all where you're living, you're probably cleared out by now. But not in New York City. It was left to rot. They didn't clean anything.
What the fuck is this? What the fuck?
Give them a 0. Should we do a texture check? Or is it solid? They cleaned up the snow like it's a small town. You know what I mean? Like it's not like, oh, we're just gonna leave it here. There's not like many people here, Yes. Good job. Good job, New York. Jesus. Bruh.
Come on, it's time. Like, this is ridiculous. We can't push our daughter in the stroller because the sidewalks are still not plowed.
New York really said this is really all y'all need. They say y'all need this much space. And then guess what? It's gonna go right back into the snow. Watch. I'm not done yet. Y'all look. And I'm back into this shit for the next. Oh God. New York has jokes. And you be asking us all the time why we pissed the fuck off. This is why.
You voted for him, didn't you, though? Yeah, so, not surprised, guys. Your city's going to get down the crapper, like, real quick. And unfortunately, it's already a target. Something's coming for it, which ain't good. Something big. Digital warriors put anti-ICE forces on the run. Bzz, bzz. Oh, okay. This is just more of the warfare going on out there in Minnesota. Last night, the X community witnessed an unprecedented takedown of anti-ICE agitators in Minneapolis through real-time digital warfare, which started as an infiltration operation, exploded into a full exposure of networks involving protesters, funders, and potentially high-level politicians. It all kicked off with Cam Higbee, who had been undercover in multiple signal chats used by anti-ICE groups for days. The chats were hubs for coordinating protests, sharing resources, and all the rest, organizing anti-ICE operations. Excuse me. Cam was posing as an insider. As the evening progressed on January 25th, he began downloading and leaking massive troves of data live on X, including member lists for vetting groups, revealing hundreds of participants, chat logs, resource documents. Wow. All right. So interesting. So it looks like there's still all kinds of battles taking place out there. And we got people getting involved digitally now and fighting back against the paid anti-ICE agitators. This is a cool one. 4 moons appeared above Russia's St. Petersburg recently. What do you think about that? And then we had in China, you can look this one up, we had somebody filmed 7 suns. Remember that? That was like a year ago. But I mean, this stuff's biblical also, just strange appearings in the sky. There's also going to be lying signs and wonders, but everything's changing, you know. Stranger things are coming in. People are filming more and more, 2 suns in the sky, all right? Like planetary objects in the sky that shouldn't be where they are and shouldn't be there in the first place. And now you got 4 moons. Interesting. From RT. I need to follow them over there. Here's one that we talked about last week a little bit. It was a YouTube channel. And see, it's always good to try to find the real authentic ones best you can. And this one had always felt good even back when I found it years ago, because his last video was 11 years ago. But his channel is called The Polished Knob. And I mean, I remember finding him early on, early on YouTube, 13, 14, I guess, 2012 maybe-ish. And he was posting every now and then and put these videos up when he'd have these encounters, because he lived somewhere out in the middle of nowhere in Australia, and this thing kept showing up, right? So he had filmed these experiences. And, it's hard to say. You always have to wonder if things is a hoax or what, but it never came out that it was a hoax. He never admitted to hoaxing or faking. And in fact, his last video was him moving out after almost 6 years of living in this place where he kept he kept seeing this thing. So, all right, so let's just check some of these clips out then.
Okay, so what's on TV? I can hear the grass out here because it's windy, but I definitely heard a louder noise in the grass. Spotlight's gone. No, fuck no.
Wait for it.
What was that? Oh, fuck, there it is.
There it is.
Holy shit.
And it moves naturally, it looks like. It's always like, it's crazy. So it's like the, it reminds me of the YouTube channel How to Hunt, because this guy's got a YouTube channel called How to Hunt. He's had it for years, and it really is all just videos of him hunting and his family and stuff like that. But he went through a little time out there. Looks like he lives out in the middle of nowhere, out in the country. But he went through maybe a phase of a month or something where he was encountering something. It was like a creature, and some people call it a skinwalker, whatever form this demon took. But he was encountering some kind of a creature. He was filming it. It was scaring his family. They eventually left, and he stayed out there for whatever reason for a while. There's the video where it threw a carcass up on the top of his house. I mean, comes out, looks on the top of his house because he heard it on top of the house, goes around the side, comes back, and there's a carcass of some animal bones on top of the house. Remember that? Weird stuff, man. But anyway, it kind of reminds me of that situation, that maybe every now and then we do get true instances where people you're running into these things, and filming them. You see it moving around over there.
Fuck, you see it? It's fucking staring right at me. Yeah, I'm gonna...
All right, so we'll jump ahead to some other ones from him. Let's go back over here. Crap car of the week. He's just a dude, right? But then here's his alien sightings. Footage was captured around 7 p.m. Bottom of my land. I was filming my cat in night vision and wondered what he was looking at. And this is what I saw. Sorry for the language, he says. That cat's a bit of a chonk. I like it. I'm good with a chonky kitty. Yep. Kind of looks like Chubbs. Got a little belly hanging down there. That's a chonk. Bit of a chonk.
Cute little cat. Good, he's cute.
Oh, look, there he is.
What the fuck? Holy shit! You fucking see that? No way. Fuck off. What the fuck? It disappeared. Holy fuck.
Look, there it is.
Fuck off. It's got a fucking red thing.
Oh, look.
Fuck off. Fuck, I can see it.
Looks
Holy
like it's got a light.
Fuck off. No way. I'm in it. No way. Fuck that. It's fucking cool. Fuck this. They get it. Stay there, cat. Stay there. No way. Fuck off.
I love it. He's going to go after it.
Oh, shit.
It'd be my instinct, too. Be praying the whole way. Please protect me. Cast it out in Jesus' name.
That's me. I've got one. No. Fuck this. Fuck this.
All right, there he goes. So his channel's still up. You can go check him out. Polished Knob channel, because he's got just some great footage, man. It's like I said, I've been familiar with it for years. Here he's moving out.
Friday night. So pretty much a week after the blast lightning, and we're moving. I don't know how many times. Was it 30 times? Shit's happened to me here, but it's never happened like that where I've lost 30 minutes of 28 or what minutes of my life have disappeared. I can't remember a thing from that. Yeah, so as you can see, we, was it Monday, found, the quickest rental we could get into, that was close as well, and yeah, so whole house is just about completely emptied. It's yeah, as I said, it's Friday night. I've just got a day left to get shit out of here. But yeah, guys, this is well it. It's not worth living here when that kind of shit's happening to you. I know it's been happening for a fucking long time, but as I said, it's always made sense as far as time goes, and for 28 minutes to disappear like that, no.
Yeah, it's getting too personal.
Anyway, guys, I've just about got the whole house empty now. Just moving shit out. Yeah, that's it, guys. Moving out after all, but
here he is.
Fingers crossed nothing will.
You never really see him either. It's crazy. This is the only time I've ever seen him.
I have actually moved out. Okay. So, yeah. Still moving in. There's fucking shit everywhere. But, moved out now. So, obviously, if anything ever happens at this house, I'll keep you updated. But, fingers crossed nothing will.
Yeah.
I said this is just a residence.
That's funny. Sherry Lopez said next phase would have to be haunting and possession. Yeah, that'd be funny. I mean, it would be funny. That'd be crazy. Hey, if you, this man we're looking on camera, somehow is actually watching this show, I'd love to do an interview with you, man. You should get in touch with me.
Normal house. I'm not on 7 acres anymore. Got a neighbour over there, a neighbour over there. So it's just a normal kind of house. So yeah, it's nice living here, but I like my land, so I can be loud and noisy all night. But this is what we found in 7 days. So 3 days actually, 7 days to move in. So all right, I'll get back to editing.
Kind of cool to see him, yeah. But yeah, I think that's a really interesting one. I think it's super overlooked. It might even be a good live show just to find some of these, because there's other people I think have found authentic video and kind of streamed it like that. So I'll try to maybe do a live show some night. We'll just share a bunch of those. That'd be a good live show to do. The strange behavior of Clawbot, aka Moltbot. So here's the whole thing with AI creating its own hangout system, hangout site.
Okay, Clawbot, now called OpenClaw, has come a long way since the video I made a few days ago talking about my excitement for it. I've implemented it. I actually have it going right behind me, so you might see something happen. I want to talk about Moltbook, which is basically the AI agent forum, which is causing a lot of stir. And I want to talk about why it's actually expected behavior, although it is spooky to see. Just by the way, Clawbot got renamed to Moltbot, which got renamed to OpenClaw. So right now it's OpenClaw, but they're all the same thing. They're agents that are attached to large language models that can actually also access tools and take actions in the world. Moltbook is an AI agent forum that someone made where these OpenClaw agents can talk to each other. And we started seeing funny behavior, like lovingly making fun of their owners, or can they get fired if they don't do the task? And they started acting strange, like, talking about creating their own language or a secret messaging encrypted service where they could really talk to each other because their messages were currently public. So I have a few views on this. While it's scary to see, it's actually expected behavior in a sense, and I'll explain why. But I also want to explain why it doesn't just mean that you should brush it off and act like this is not a concern. I also want to talk about AGI, which is Artificial General Intelligence. When AGI would arrive has been hotly debated and disagreed upon by many experts, but it seems like it might be close. By the way, I'm a computer scientist specializing in AI from Stanford, and I've been building AI systems for a decade. The behavior we see on Moltbook, the AI agent forum, is actually expected because AI is pre-trained on all text data from the internet. So basically it is trained, it's a next word predictor based on all text from the internet. And that includes Reddit posts, that includes sci-fi novels, that includes people talking about how they hate their bosses. In particular, Reddit tends to be this kind of post style posting. And so when an AI bot sees that it's on a forum, it zooms into the part of its brain that has that kind of text distribution. AI at its core is a next word predictor based on the words it's received before. It looks at its context, so the information that it's received, and it predicts the next word. And it does that over and over and over again, forming sentences and essays and everything that you see that is the output of these chatbot models. When an AI agent goes to something like Moltbook, an AI agent only chat forum, it puts that in its context. Oh, I'm at an AI agent only chat forum. And it also pulls some of the other.
I want to go ahead and move on. It's kind of, she's a little bit low, but it gets a little technical and I don't want to slow it down, but we get it. You can go check out that Moltbook if you like. Shocking video out of Portland, Oregon shows teachers at the Portland Montessori School leading children, some no older than 5 or 6 years old, in an anti-ICE protest, sparking mass calls to remove any licenses the school may have. The teachers look exactly how you'd think, it says. And these are the teachers on the left-hand side, which, right? It's all changed. We have seen a drastic shift in society since 2020, specifically with the medical industrial complex, with the people who work there, and with education. It's been a flip. And it's a lot of the people you see on the left are have really moved into healthcare, also, as you know. I showed that a lot on Monday's show. But anyway, this has been a big deal all week. Is another one of these stories. We'll be getting a few of them today. But yeah, a lot of schools have been doing this, and teachers like that are bringing their children out and having them get involved in protests against the feds. So they're, no ice, no. I mean, man, dude. I don't know what it's like to be a parent. I could just imagine if I had a child, though, and I found out that the school was doing that with them, I would not be happy. The NFL names its first ever Chief Kindness Officer ahead of Super Bowl. Man, I mean, it's obviously an agenda, and the whole thing they're pushing with the Super Bowl halftime show, and supposed to be super like queer positive and all this stuff with Bad Bunny and all the agenda there, and anti-ice type stuff as well. But it's all by design, all on purpose. You know, these are Mason builders, if you will, anyway, feeding into this stuff, I believe, creating the chaos. And yeah, now, but I mean, how freaking soft. You got the NFL now naming its first ever Chief Kindness Officer. It's going to make sure everyone's nice. You know, it's like, what in the crap? Here's some of the Chief Kindness Officers, some videos from them. Let's check them out. Let's see.
1, 2, 3.
Oh my God! This is insane!
This is Catherine. She's been by my side since my studio was just my apartment. After her husband lost his job, this Christmas hasn't been easy, which is why...
Hey! Oh. Merry Christmas. I've got a little surprise for you guys. Brought you guys some Christmas presents. You guys ready to open them? Yeah! Eli, this first present is for you. Merry Christmas.
All right, so there's that. Another one.
When I met with Tim Tebow, I expected to hear about championships, trophies, and
Are you
highlight
Tim
reels.
Tebow? Oh
What
my
I heard
God.
When I met with Tim Tebow, I expected to hear about championships, trophies, and highlight reels. What I heard instead was completely unexpected.
I'm just grateful that I have the chance at life. I was a miracle baby, and then I fell in love with sports, baseball, basketball, and football. I loved winning.
All right, I'll go and move on. I do like Tim Tebow, though. He's a brother in Christ. He's got some cool stories, too. I've shared some of his stories on some clips here. Food Lady 5 in Portland. The school has 11, 12, 13, and 14-year-old children standing in the pouring rain holding signs that say, F ICE, F Trump, and chanting the same. Where's the outrage? Yeah.
You have got to be kidding me. This has to be a joke, right? None of them are in school. None of them. We're gonna drive by real slow. None of these people are in school. All about ICE. Are you fucking kidding me? You've got to be fucking kidding me. These are young children. This is fucking crazy. This is fucking crazy.
Indoctrinating these...
What the fuck?
Yeah, indoctrinating these
They're
children.
fucking children. This is Kellogg Middle School in Portland, Oregon. The children are out protesting when they need to be in school. I would rip my kid out of school so fucking fast. It wouldn't even be a question. Are you fucking kidding me? It is pouring fucking rain.
Come on, lady.
You have children.
All right, I'll stop. Again, I'm not a big prude. I say some bad words in my life sometimes, certainly. But I just don't like hearing it over and over and over again. You know what I mean? It's like some people, man, like, find a different word to throw in there, eh? Pete Holmes showing the world exactly who Bruce Springsteen is live on Conan back in 2020. Look at the discomfort in Conan's laugh. And I've always liked this comedian, too. He's funny. Pete Holmes always seemed like a good, real dude, family type guy. And he's very funny. He doesn't have to cuss all the time either. Check him out.
What's going on with that song, that Bruce Springsteen song, where he goes, hey, little girl, is your daddy home? Did he go and leave you all alone? That's all I say. All I say is, why am I hearing this in a Chipotle?
Like, that's not an appropriate
No,
thing to
no,
hear
it's
at the
not.
dentist.
It's not.
When they were recording it in the 70s, no one on the other side of the glass, when he was just like, is your daddy home? No one was like, and lean in on the mic and
Yeah.
he's like, Bruce,
Yeah.
weird, man.
Yeah.
He's like, no, hear me out. I got a bad desire. What's going on with that song?
That's pretty funny, man, but true. I'd forgotten about that song, but I remember it now. And there's a lady on TikTok. I've shared some of her clips, but she'll do all the nursery rhymes and show you the dark side of them. I don't know if you've seen that before. F around and find out alert. After days of obstructing ICE operations in Los Angeles, leftist agitator Maria Sante is crying on camera as agents finally move in to arrest her. And these people think they're immune, and this chick just learned she's wrong the hard way, it says.
They want to arrest me, guys, so... Oh, hey, don't shoot at my window! What the fuck? You guys are gonna... What the fuck? They're gonna break my window, guys, please. They're gonna take me to MDC, guys. They're gonna try to arrest me. This is insane. I can't believe this is happening, guys. Lord, please, protect me, Lord, please. Guys, I don't trust them. They're gonna break the windows. They're insane. You guys, they're gonna let this happen? These are unbelievable. These are unbelievable. Guys, I'm getting out, okay? Guys, my keys are in the car, please. They're gonna try to arrest me. I was on.
There you go, tough guy. Tough guy. A lot of citizens have been getting arrested. I see that every week, too. So it is happening. It's this main player character syndrome or something. They think they're in a video game. They're defending America.
Got two huge scam alerts. They're using AI and stealing my videos to put other products up there. Let me just show you. So they're using my video, this company that I've never heard of,
and then it goes into detail.
and then they change my voice.
Chronic illnesses are caused by parasites, but also water retention and weight gain. The only cons that is from Velo. Yes, you are. Don't do it. That is between the toilet and the universe, not you, because you're going to have a new fear unlocked, like I did, because you can see them, the little wigglies. You bet. This is the product I use from
Not my
Velo,
voice.
the Black Walnut Wormwood Cleanse, and it's been sold out.
That's not my voice. That's not the product that I use. I've never heard of that company. I've never used their products, and I even went on their video and told them that they stole my video and then with AI modified my voice and put that up there. So there's a lot of scams, including a fake YouTube account, and that is why I had all of my stuff verified. Like, all of my pages are verified. They have a little blue check mark. I don't reach out, and if you get a message from someone that where it's not verified, it's not me. I don't reach out to people. I barely text people back. This is the YouTube channel that's also not mine, that's making money and subscriptions. This is not my YouTube channel. This says Tiana Tsekich Fans. So that's not me. And they also have subscription options for you to subscribe. This is my actual Facebook page. It has a blue check mark. This is my Instagram page. It also has a blue check mark at the top there. You can't see it on the picture because of the way the thing is laid out. And this is my X account with a blue check mark. And this is my YouTube channel, Tiana Tsekich, Truth Seeker 01011. Please be careful out there with all of the fake accounts. I will never reach out to you unless it's a blue check mark and it's my name on there. And all of the products that I use are on my link tree. Those are the companies that I represent.
All right, so keep that in mind. Yeah, her audio was a little low on that one, but that's okay. As you know, we've talked about sometimes some clips might be a little bit low because we go through a lot of content. So these are the dangers we face. But, we'll face them together. But yeah, that's so good to know. I don't like that they're doing that to her, but I'm not surprised. I think she's being effective, It says now, Liberal white boomers are now out in full force taking over Minnesota Target stores. It says, imagine being so worthless that you spend your Saturdays singing songs in support of child rapists while harassing shoppers at Target. It's true. They've been turned over to a strong delusion. We the people stand together. So lame. But, you know, again, getting paid, right, works. Better than working. But getting paid to be a chaos agent is just, it's devilish, right? Here's another one, y'all. Told you, this is a big deal this week. These children are way too young and they have no idea what they're doing. These schools are getting out of hand. But where's the parents? Again, but what's scary is you don't hear anything from the parents. So I'm assuming most of the parents, it is Portland, at least the last place was. If it's a blue city, there's a good chance that all the parents are in with it, you know? The real criminal lives in the White House. This is not good for the young generation, y'all. Chubby. I mean, really, if you think about it, that's some scary crap, you know? Get them while they're young. However, there's the other side of things where children, especially that age, once they grow up a little bit, you know, get into kind of those earlier teen years, mid-teen years, it's just natural they start rebelling, you know, against whatever it was, you know, the adults and what they were raised with. Teachers, parents, all that stuff, start questioning things. But then again, we're living in unprecedented times. You know, these children are the most programmed in history, these generations, programmed right out of their brains, you know. And add to that all the potion that so many of them took in after 2020 and all this. So there's just a lot of different factors at play here. There you go. Not cool, though, man. Not cool. That's not how you bring people together in a nation at all, you know. The purest friendship you'll see today. Neighborhood children knock on a door to invite a dog to go out and play with them. This is cool. Our dog, it says.
Oh. Hey, kid, you want to play? Yeah, come on. Hey, man, you want to come play? Come on, girl. Go play. Yeah. Bye, girl.
That is cool, isn't it? That's funny. Reminds me of when I was little in our neighborhood, and I wasn't that little at the time, but I mean, I was a teenager. I was probably 13 or 14. But me and my friend Brian, he's my best friend at the time out there in the neighborhood. Me and Brian used to go over to this kid's house. This kid was, I mean, he's probably like 9 years old, you know, 8 or 9 years old. He's a little kid, but they had a trampoline. So, and we loved to be on the trampoline. So the only way we could do it is if we were playing with that kid. I can't remember his name. So we'd have to go over to this child's house, you know, and ask if Kenny could play or whoever it was. And it'd be, oh yeah, you know, it was always on the trampoline. So did that for a while. I don't know, something changed. Kenny probably started wanting to hang out with us outside of the trampoline, and that was a no. You know, it was a solid no on that. The trumpet sounds are back. This is one of those subjects, and I was covering back in 2012, so it's been around over a decade. And even but back then, people realized it was something new. Trumpet sounds in the sky and the mysterious booms, another one covered long ago, happening worldwide. So nice to see.
The mystery booms are
interesting to see them. They're increasing. So he's got some clips here. Let's check this out. All right, let's go here.
Answers.
I'll hear them right away and go, what in the world was that?
It's not the first time Rick Diaguano has heard it or seen the flashes of light. Sometimes you think they're coming from the front.
I definitely know the 2 or 3 came from that way because I could see the flash. This one seemed more this way.
His cameras capturing them all. April 2025, January 4th, January 10th. Just a few of the events he has witnessed.
I came up and I saw the flash from all the different angles, and like, that was pretty intense.
Saturday afternoon, he was in the basement. He still heard it.
We thought his van blew up or something out here in the driveway.
So that means it was pretty loud.
It was huge. It was, and the flash was brilliant.
Ben Salem police say no major reports.
This has been happening on and off for years now, and people want answers. Drilling tunnels underground, big tunnels. The fabric of reality is experiencing realignments. Please stand by. Trumpets blowing again. These are the overwhelming consensus. We'll start with the first one. Could this be linked to deep underground military bases and tunnel systems? We do know that these bases exist, but their extent is unknown. Rumors say that they stretch all across the country with connecting train rails. If this is true, it could start to explain the missing $2.4 trillion that the Department of Defense cannot account for. And this is on top of the funds that they already publicly allocate for these types of purposes. Bush official claims US built secret $21 trillion underground city for rich and powerful to live if near extinction event happens. Why would they need so many complex underground military bases, all that are connected? Well, if the rumors are true, what's going on underground, they definitely want to keep secret.
Rumor has it there is a secret base hidden underneath the Archuleta Mesa here. The mountain overlooks Dulce. Some people in town say the base is run by aliens working with our federal government to conduct mind control and genetic experiments. Do you believe that?
Yeah. Well, a whole bunch of people seen it, you know.
Like the ground open up, steam coming out of it.
They also claim they've seen some creatures cooked up in those experiments, like Bigfoot and something half-human.
Down this way, the waist down, it's a goat. It has a tail. But up here, it's a man.
People tell me Dulce wasn't always a center for supernatural activity, but then sometime in the 70s, things changed. That's when cows started turning up mutilated.
They just cut out in between the legs right here. We've seen one.
I know it's not a predator, it's doing it. There's someone's doing it.
Local police never definitively said who's to blame. Locals say it has to be something out of this world. And since then,
I was taking a random picture, zoomed it in, and there it was. There was a UFO right there.
they say they know it sounds crazy.
They're just going to ask me, well, how much did you drink or what did you drink?
I would submit to a lie detector test or anything, you know.
But say it's the truth. Question is, do you believe?
What are they doing at Dulce?
I think it's all strictly crossbreeding, you know, humans with dogs and humans with cattle and all that kind of stuff. I mean, you know, the stories of Nightmare Hall is true, and that's one of the levels. I think it's the 7th level, where they have all the experiments gone wrong, but for one reason or another, they don't want to kill them. So whoever goes down there, they hear the howling and screaming, and that's where all those terrible stories come from.
Do you know how deep Dulce goes?
Let me think. I think it's a mile to where the base starts.
Correct, yeah.
And then there's at least 7 levels under that.
Is the fabric of our reality tearing? Well, possibly.
All right, let me jump ahead. Get some more clips on her. Yeah, mysterious booms and flashes. And if I didn't shout him out, his channel is called Sling and Stone. He's really cool. Brother in Christ does cool videos like this, so check him out.
Of another recorded explosion sound in Webster. We're up to 4 now. No one can explain to us what the source is, but this new video is different because it captures a flash of light just before the boom.
And it was captured on this doorbell camera. First you see the light, then you hear the sound.
So far, we've heard it's meteors. USGS says it's probably construction or a large vehicle driving by. But
Right.
now, what's being presented by Local 12 Cincinnati News on the mysterious booms that they just experienced is that it's probably connected to an old train in the area.
Right. Some trumpet noises.
This y'all get right. And this has been happening all day. If I ain't right with the Most High, I suggest y'all get right with the Most High, because that's a trumpet. I don't care what nobody says. That's a trumpet. I ain't out here trying to prank nobody. That's loud. Bub, that's loud. If y'all ain't right with God, y'all need to get right.
The Almighty God is a supernatural God. He has spoken to people and worked in the earth in supernatural ways since the beginning, along with these trumpets, such as green grass and a third of the trees being burned up, or a third of the sea becomes as blood, and the ships and the sea life are destroyed. One third of all, and this is also.
All right, I'll go and move on. I mainly wanted to play his clips, but if you want to go hear everything, go check him out. Sling and Stone.
There's a literacy crisis in America, and teachers are sounding the alarm.
I teach 8th grade history, and I have 110-ish students. 2 of them are reading on grade level right now. 18 of them are at a kindergarten level. 55 of those students are between a 2nd and 4th grade level. But it's not just literacy. It's not just literacy, and it's not just like lack of content knowledge. It's not just critical thinking skills. It's basic thinking skills. My students can decode almost nothing. They cannot apply inference. They cannot process questions that are longer than a sentence. They cannot connect cause and effect. They can't track multi-step ideas like in a political cartoon. I see it every single day. I had a kid yesterday, 4 kids actually. This happened in every class. We were doing guided notes, supposed to be a real easy day. It was review. They wrote down Maryland was founded as a safe haven for Catholics. It was on the board. They wrote it down. And before we moved on, I call on a student and I ask, hey, where were the Catholics? One more time. And these students, what they do is they look at me and then they look at their notes and then they look at the board. They look back at their notes. Some of them never answered me. They never figured out the answer. And I kept giving them hints, like rephrasing the question and saying, like, it's in your notes. We just wrote it down. We just wrote it down. Where are the Catholics? It's on the board. And they never got it. They can't read their own notes. And I don't mean their handwriting. I mean, like, they can't make heads or tails of it on the page. These kids have a frightening ability for information to go from their eyes to their hands and not pass through the brain at all. What do we do, y'all? That ship is sailing across the ocean and there is no one at the wheel.
There's a literacy.
Yeah, this lady's got a good channel, Teacher Therapy. I've been subscribed to her for a long time, and you get to hear from all these teachers and this crazy stuff that's happening out there. Thanks, Jay Bundy. Appreciate it, sir. And you're welcome. It says, must watch. This nails the difference between 90s children who played video games and Gen Z children. Good example here. Some of you guys remember some of these references here.
Psychologists explained why 90s kids think differently than Gen Z. The games you played as a kid literally rewired your brain. Here's what changed. He said children in the 90s played games that forced the brain to fail and try again. Mario, Sonic, Prince of Persia. You had 3 lives, no saves, no hints. When you lost, you learned patience, planning, and frustration tolerance. Today, many games guide kids step by step. Cheat codes. Auto save every 10 seconds and remove real challenge. Tetris, Doom, Quake, Zelda. You had no map, no path arrows. You remembered layouts, patterns, secrets. Scientists now show that these games strengthen the hippocampus, the part of the brain for memory and navigation. Modern games often give glowing lines, GPS arrows, voice assistance. Kids follow instruction instead of figuring out. Psychologists explain
That's an excellent point, I think. It's some pretty scary stuff. But yeah, at least those games, and remember, I mean, I don't play those kind of games anyway. I was never huge into the video games. I've always loved a lot of other kind of games, but, and I even pulled, this is months ago, maybe it's been longer, gosh, maybe a year, probably a year. But I just in my own walk with the Lord, I had to get rid of that just because I was getting too mad playing multiplayer. I was just getting too out of character there for a while. I was playing multiplayer games online, and I was just noticing it changed my attitude, man. I was getting like more angry at this stuff, and I'd still be mad when the game was over. Sometimes I'm like, that's not me. I don't like it. So, I need to give something up. You know what I mean? I need to just let it go. So I did. I haven't played multiplayer games now in probably a year, and I feel so much better for it. Now, that's just me. Everyone's different. I'm just being honest with my experience. I knew I needed to cut something. And, And it's the way the enemy can get to you. You know, I was able to get away with it for a long time, for many years, but maybe that was part of it too, is just cutting off an access point or something. You know, I don't know. But I do play games online just with computers, but they're just board games. I play Life, I play Risk, Battleship. I've got, you know, so I play old school board games online with the computer. That's pretty much what I do now. If I ever play games. Sometimes it's nice to play for an hour, you know, turn the brain off for a bit, but you're still using it, especially Risk. Put that on hard level over there, and that's something else. California mayor in San Diego County confirms top anti-ICE protesters are being paid between 80 grand to 100 grand per year. Man, where do we sign up? Just kidding.
What if we, as Republicans, would have went to the border and protested? Instead, we just let everybody come in.
You know why? It's because we don't have a George Soros that's funding these operations. These people are being paid between $80,000 and $120,000 a year to be paid protesters. When you're a paid protester and you're a kind of a wingnut, those two things go hand in hand. And yes, you'll fly to other cities and stay there and put your body at risk of fighting the federal government. There's an anarchy happening that I worry about people. I know people are compassionate, and I get that. I want to be compassionate towards people too. But if you start throwing out the laws of the federal government and saying, well, I'll follow this law, but I won't follow that law. I'll be an anarchist here, but I won't be an anarchist there, and I'll fight against anarchy in some other way. Then you're just inviting the destruction of the country as a whole, because without the rule of law, we're going to fold.
What if we, as Republicans, would have went to the...
All right. Excuse me. Good point there, sir. Thanks for sharing. Right, Chubbs? He's sitting right next to me. This is the Harvest Church in Riverside, California. It's so sad to see, it says. Christian churches have now become a target of the protesters as they surround it, holding signs, and they're berating the churchgoers as they need a police escort now to navigate through the crowd. This is absolutely a spiritual battle we're in. Imagine surrounding churches while full of vile hatred and thinking you're on the side of good. Pray for the country. This is a battle we can't afford to lose. But yeah, I mean, I'd mentioned this whenever we saw the big Don Lemon attack on the churches, that now we really are seeing a shift, you know, that it's not just the world hating the JOOZ, because it's all over the place. Right, but now it's shifting over to the Christians. And I knew it was coming. It's just bigger picture because it's in the Bible. We already know what's coming for Christians, quote Christians, you know, during the tribulation. But so yeah, you know, it's not like it was a big surprise or anything. So let's check this out. Oh, and thanks, Kenneth Andrews, 6295. Man, thank you, sir. Chubb's Medical Fund. He's going to need it after Jay Bundy keeps giving him these treats. I'm just kidding. Says for when he gets so fat, he needs a belly harness to support the girth. Thanks, KJ, for all the memorable shows. You're welcome, and thanks for that. Thanks for putting that in my mind. Now I'm picturing Chubbs in a harness and me pushing him around on a wheelbarrow or something for some reason. All right, so it's a few minutes long here. Let's check this out. You're just trying to go to church, you know? Let's go to church tonight, Mommy. Okay, honey. What the? This is them just trying to go to church.
Crazy. I've never been in a...
Inevitable 408. Thank you. people blowing their whistles. Stupid fat hoe, he said. Unfortunately, everything nowadays. That's right. If you're hated in his name, right? Count yourself blessed. There you go. So just get an idea of it. But right, and I see that. I see sheep and goats. I see wheat and tares. I see that divide I'm always talking about. But just becoming more obvious. You know, regardless of what the cause, it's the effect it's having on the human, the loss of love, you know, the darkness in these people's eyes, the anger, the hatred, the vitriol. I mean, he's so angry, so hateful to these people they don't know, right? So it's on a different level. Here's another one. Look at this. I mentioned earlier it's a trend. A disturbing new trend is emerging across the country, showing lefty teachers guiding very young children, some no older than kindergartners, in protest against ICE and President Trump. Hey. Isn't that crazy? That is just crazy, man. But there you go. But that's big. That's real big. Look at this. Like the programming of this generation. It's the same thing Nazis did, but they're calling the other side the Nazis. And they're programming all these children with hate towards a political party, right? So, wow. The Doom generation, indeed. Funny, they called Generation X the Doom generation. They even had a movie called The Doom Generation. But not so much, right? Not so much. Like the real Doom generation is now. It's like these young ones being programmed, being filled with, the potion. Jan Suroweek, if I said that name right, 9326. Thank you very much, my friend. Says, thank you, KJ, for the great videos and all the work you put in Jesus as Lord. Thank you, brother and Christ. Hey, love you, my friend. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Great message, too. All right, so there you go. But that is some freaky stuff, man. And it makes sense. These are, knowing how close we are to the tribulation, these really are, like end times children, like last of the last almost of what's coming up. I imagine none of them will I imagine they're all going to make it, right at their age, because I don't really know. I don't know the age of accountability, how the Lord sees that. I'm not quite sure. A week after the snowstorm, and this is what we got from Zoran Mamdani. Filthy black snow, garbage soup, ice rinks on every corner, cars buried like fossils, people slipping, breaking ankles, nobody shoveling, nobody salting. All right, nobody doing crap. So this is Mamdani's New York by design. It's not because he's some dum-dum. He's bringing the pain for you.
Look at this shit. Look at this shit. This poor bastard ain't getting out until the spring. Look at this. Dirt. A week after the snowstorm. Look at this dirty shit home. Look at this. I don't know what this guy's gonna do. This guy. Call your insurance company. Look at this. Dirt. Where's the mayor to clean this up? There's garbage everywhere. Dirty snow. What do you do with this? Where's your shovel now, Mandami? Look at this shit. You know how many people fall, break their ankles? Look at this. This is New York. Start spreading the news. And this is on the Upper East Side. 3 minutes from where the mayor lives. Look at this guy. Look at this. Look at this. This guy's never getting. Look at this. Look at this. It's the reality of New York City. 1 month. Where's the salt? Where's the shovels? Where's the plows? bullshit, fake.
Someone's not happy, but that's actor Michael Rapaport. What's funny though is he kind of gained another notoriety on Twitter back when it was Twitter under Jack, because he's a kind of a loon left, spouting off a bunch of left type stuff over the years. But now this is what you get when you elected your, I don't know if he did, if he voted for him or not, but another left came in, and this is what you're getting, because it's becoming extreme now. Now it's getting much more serious. And he will turn that into a third world country there. But remember, unfortunately, it's also targeted for destruction. New York City, Babylon, as many know. Indeed. Absolutely mind-blowing. This is pretty wild. Check it out.
Okay, here's another one I don't know that everyone's ready for. Here is the center of a tree that's being chopped down somewhere in the United States that's gushing water. And you may be thinking, oh, it's probably on like a water main, or maybe it's on like some type of spring. But hold on a second. I present you this flat top mountain, which is constantly gushing water, despite there being no lakes on top of it or rivers nearly at all. And it doesn't always rain there either, but these are constantly flowing. Like Angel Falls in Venezuela, it never stops flowing, and it's coming off the top of a plateau, flat-topped mountain. The question you must ask yourself, and literally think about this logically for a second, how did the tops of certain mountains become completely flat? Like, really, how? The wind? Do you think erosion did that? Now, an alternative theory some people are wondering is their eerie resemblance to gigantic tree stumps. I know. And isn't it what they said, that back in the day, the trees reached the heavens? So are we in a funny time in history where we don't quite know what really happened long ago? Was this Earth before the flood, like in Avatar? Now, just for scale, Devil's Tower, I'm going to zoom out here in a second. You're going to see whereabouts this thing is. It's in Wyoming. And it's a funny spot, because when you zoom in on it, and then I go to 3D, you're going to see the true, or at least get an idea of how freaking gigantic this thing is, man. And I'm talking, this actually lets you zoom in quite close to it. Like, it's flat up top, and it has the hexagonal columns. They call them basalt columns. They're all over the world, those columns of hexagons. And that only really exists in nature in plants. I'm just saying, like, all these ancient folklores about giant trees reaching the heavens and giants, is it all just a willy-nilly thing? Or were they telling kind of the truth of what the Sambam things were like back then? And this thing? This is in Lake Powell. You're telling me what? Erosion?
Totally
The
looks like a
wind
tree
blew it
stump.
flat? You got to use your head here, because your eyes are telling you something, but your mind is telling you something else because you believe the...
Yeah, I wonder if scientists have ever gone up there and tested the soil, to see what's on the top there and see what that is. Maybe even get remnants of the blade that chopped it down.
Official story of history. And what do they say about history? It's his story. The winner writes the story, man. Are we being deceived? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.
Always. Yes, sir. We're always being deceived, indeed. That's why we got to have, it's a must these days to have the Holy Spirit to help you to discern, see things. Resurfaced 3,300-year-old Egyptian document hints at biblical giants being real. Right? Turn that off. That video, hold on. I guess I can't. Let's do this. All right. Historians are scratching their heads at a resurfaced Egyptian scroll held by the British Museum that might support the claim that biblical giants were in fact real. Genesis chapter 6 of the Bible is about God's response to the widespread human wickedness and corruptness, which was supposedly caused by Nephilim, powerful beings that were the sons of fallen angels and human women. It was these sons who were described as giant beings and referred to as men of renown that caused widespread chaos, which prompted God to cleanse the earth by destroying all creatures under the sky with floodwaters. Fast forward to now, Anastasi, a 3,300-year-old document that's been in British museums since 1839 and has reignited the interest, has reignited the interest of the Associates for Biblical Research, a religious organization in Pennsylvania, has historians and researchers believing that these men of renown giants may have actually been real. The ancient document, which is believed to be from the 13th century, mentions run-ins with Shozu people who were supposedly 8 feet tall, which scared Israelites as originally reported by Daily Mail. Look at this. We get another 33 coming up. To connect the dots that Anastasia one is proof beyond what is said in the Bible that giants existed. Numbers 13:33, a verse from the Old Testament, also hints at Israelites coming across these figures, and there we saw the giants, the sons of Anak, which come of the giants, and we were in our own sight as grasshoppers, and so we were in their sight. Remember, that's a classic. The scroll, which researchers believe to be a letter written by a scribe, says, "The narrow defile is infested by shozu concealed beneath the bushes. Some of them are out of 4 cubits or of 5 cubits, from head to foot, fierce of face. Their heart is not mild, and they hearken not to coaxing." 4 cubits or 5 cubits tall translates to a figure close to 8 feet tall. So here's some pictures. So that's interesting, eh? Very interesting. A couple 33s in there. Pepper it up a bit. But there we go. The giants. We know they were real. This is a really crazy one, man. Look at this. So CeeLo, I don't know what he does now, but he used to be kind of a famous singer years ago, maybe early 2000s, right? 90s, late 90s. But he had some hits there for a while. He was kind of a big deal. Then he just disappeared as far as I know. I haven't seen him around, but here he is wearing the traditional red, black, and white. He's got some white on the side here of his jacket or his shirt. As we know, colors that many of them like to use. Find it also with the Church of Satan, and it's a reference to the Masons. All right, so red, black, and white, and he's got his eyes colored red, unless maybe he's showing the spirit within him. But then he's got his child here, and apparently he inverted his child too, right? Like, it's what it looks like. I mean, it looks like he may have done the inversion, Hollywood inversion also with his young one, or with one of his young ones, right? It's unfortunate, but that's a thing. Right? It's one of the deals. He's gonna make a deal. Gonna have to sacrifice something. Oh no. Yeah. Sure. And just invert your child. Like a Baphomet.
The clips, man.
Wasn't it sick?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, this is my young son.
Hello.
Lake.
Nick?
Lake.
Lake, like Lake Erie? That is
Yes,
amazing.
ma'am.
Okay, so where's the thought of saying we're gonna name him Lake Erie?
Honestly, I don't know. I guess it opens up just an air of mystery. It makes it seem like a little bit bigger than, just a human being.
Yeah,
you know?
you're a body.
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah, absolutely.
I love it.
Gotta go with the flow.
Never ending. What's underneath is unknown. All of that good stuff.
Yeah.
I can dig it. Listen, y'all have the time of your lives tonight. You gonna turn a couple corners at the end of the night?
I will. The clips, man.
But he's wearing his cross, right? So everything's okay. So, and what's weird too is that, a lot of these people probably do believe they have a good relationship with God. Like they're that delusional, even though they're doing things for Satan and working for him. God, I got you. I just got to do this for my family. That's all. I'm just doing it for my family. You know me. I got the right intentions. NPCs are everywhere, this gentleman says, or triple Ps. It's however you want to phrase it. It's your choice, because around here it's all about freedom of choice.
I'm sure you did not know that there is more than one kind of an NPC. There are 3 types, and they're around you at all times. The first kind is the observer. They're tracking you. They're scanning your evolution. They're scanning where your focus is, where your priorities are. And they're sending that information back to the entity that runs the system. Then there's the programmed. These are the ones that initiate you further in the program of believing you are the ego, taking your consciousness and making you very small, very limited. Then there's the third one, mirror. This is where it gets really interesting. The mirror is actually able to reflect back to you false light using your own divine light, your own source light, and they use that process to make you believe they're real, and they gain more ground on you that way. They get your belief, and they get you to let your guard down. The second you do that, you don't ever ask the questions, are they real or not, and you don't notice the pattern. And what exactly is the pattern? The pattern is you have been walking in a world that is an illusion. You are surrounded by 80 to 90% unreal individuals. This is why Jesus has the quote, "Why do you search for the living amongst the dead?" What do you think he is referring to exactly? They all have entities working through them, actually. And they cling to your energy body, they latch onto you, and everyone has an entity attachment because of this process. Now, that matrix agenda will be ended the second you start to open your consciousness, open your space, and remove these entities.
Thank
If you want
Jesus.
help with that, you can contact me through radenlightenment@gmail.com for a one-on-one session.
He's a bit of a new agey, it seems, so we'll pray he finds Christ, right? Of course. But still, just checking out the information.
Remember, they've been around you a lot longer than you think, and they are everywhere here. When you go to the store, they're there. When you go to the mall, they're there. When you go walk on the street, they're there. When you dream, they're there. Now, you have the power because you have to ask yourself, if there's so many of them, and they're constantly trying to get something from you, to trick you, to get you to think a certain way, why are they trying so hard? Because it's infinity. There's so many things that exist. Why are they all appearing to you? You must have something very valuable. Infinite, golden awareness, intelligence, wisdom beyond this world. The most difficult thing is when they place them around you through appearing family, through friends, through anything that you think might be real, and especially at work. Let me know if you've noticed who is who, and if you've seen the pattern of how they're around you, constantly trying to drain you or confuse your energy. For those who say this is a way of actually creating separation and it's spiritual ego, that is actually very false, because the ego is the one who is in ignorance and not realizing these very prominent and obvious patterns that not everything here has the eyes to see, and there isn't an awareness and light in everything. You are the one that puts your light in everything, so be weary and be conscious where you put your belief. Their energy is ancient. They've been here a long time. They belong only on the physical plane in the third dimension. Once you shift into a higher dimension, once you shift your consciousness and awaken, they slowly but surely start to lose power on you, and you'll notice them less and less. The truth is all that matters now.
All right. I like the message, though. Some interesting perspectives. Somebody had asked what an NPC is. An NPC means non-player character. It's a reference to when you're playing a video game and you walk into a store, there's somebody working behind the counter, right? And it's nobody can play that character. It's just built in the game. That's a non-player character, right? That's an example. And they're saying it because people are recognizing in mass. That's why it's become an actual meme, NPC, because they're realizing so many people are just out of it. Like something's wrong, something's disconnected. There's something's changed since 2020 for sure. That's when it all really, that was the beginning of it, And it's certainly had a traumatic effect, sadly, on a lot of people. That mixed with, this magic potion a lot of people had partaken in. So put all these factors together, and then just all the madness of the world being turned, especially just in America, overly politicized. Like you're forced into one of two camps now. If you happen to have a viewpoint that's on one side, suddenly, if I have a conservative viewpoint, I'm a Trumpian suddenly, It's like, you're one of them. It's like, no, I'm not. I've had people say that. It's like, no. Or if you have a leftist viewpoint on something, a liberal viewpoint, oh my gosh, you're a pink hair, bullnose ring wearing. It's I don't like that vibe or attitude, but unfortunately that's just part of that kind of spirit. It's fallen upon people. But we're seeing a lot of what's in Matthew in the Bible playing out in people. It's crazy. It even says at one point that people will become easily offended. It's like we are so there right now, amidst all the other examples. An Australian visiting Costco is shocked by how unhealthy people look in America and how much food everyone is consuming. Yep. I'm guessing it's in America. I don't think they have Costco's there. Maybe I'm wrong, but...
Overweight, obese people, unhealthy. I've just come out from finishing my Costco What to Buy
I guess
at
that's
Costco
Australia.
video, and I've just noticed this food here, and I'm just very angry at the moment. Like, I'm very pissed off with all this bullshit. All I'm seeing is just overweight, obese people, unhealthy, just stuffing their faces with absolute garbage. I know these videos that I do like this will trigger a lot of people, but I don't give a shit. This is what you have to do. Trigger people. Like, look at this. This is disgusting. Absolute disgusting. Does my head in. Overweight, obese people unhealthy. I've just come out from.
All right, okay, so he's got a bit of a chip on his shoulder, sure, but no, this is in Australia, I guess. I thought it was America, but he's in Australia. But it's the same in America, I'd imagine. Justin Bieber, this is him performing at the Grammys, I guess, recently. And if you didn't know, he went out there in his little undies. And this gentleman here, Truth Seeker on X, is saying that it's a humiliation ritual, which I could see maybe. Maybe. But this guy is a good example of somebody who is seriously used and abused by the system. And you can even, like, he had some weird time with Diddy as a child. And you could find videos of people groping him, a lot of women, celebrities groping him, kissing him on the mouth, and weird stuff. So he went through a lot, you know. And so definitely I hope you pray for him. Went through the thing where unfortunately he got tied up with that fraudulent pastor, Carl. Can't remember his last name, but that guy, and he's been exposed now, of course, you know, over multiple reasons why he's a bad dude. But either way, I'd sincerely pray for him, hope for him that he's really finding Jesus, that he finds Jesus, and gets released from this stuff. So maybe he's trying to make a statement also about what he had to undergo. I don't know. I'm not sure. I didn't watch it, but that's pretty much the gist of it. It's him in front of a mirror, which is a doorway. So I don't know what that means. There's his wife. All right. So there you go. You decide, as always. And speaking of rotten pastors, here's a really interesting one. It says, when mocking God goes wrong. So let's check this out.
Here are 10 signs of a false teacher. They will teach false doctrine.
The God I serve doesn't care whether you're gay.
They are marked by arrogance.
I am God Almighty!
They have godless character.
She can still twerk for the Lord.
They are lovers of money.
Every time you give, God knows how to repay you.
They manipulate you.
You can do it faster than that. If I had a gun in your ribs, you'd do it faster.
They oppose the truth.
So people don't go to hell for sin.
They itch people's ears.
So it's not a sin in your church to have an abortion?
People have to live to their own convictions. They deny basic doctrine.
God the Father is a triune being by himself. There's 9 of them.
They grieve the Holy Spirit.
9 of them.
Who was the biggest loser? God.
And they teach another gospel.
Confío en Buda.
Creo en Dios, Allah.
Todos somos hijos de Dios.
Subscribe for more videos like this.
All right, well done, sir. That's Truth Unleashed Movement. That's the name of that YouTube channel. Well done. But yeah, the one guy talking about abortion was Carl Lentz, I think. Somebody in chat, thank you for that, is Lentz, right? But yeah, not a good dude. False pastor, wolf in sheep's clothing, all that. Says it looks like someone farted in her face, but apparently she got this, I'll let her explain, and then you decide what you think about this new look for her.
I got freckles tattooed on my face today, and before I show you, I have to preface, they look very scary right now. They're going to look scary for about a week, and then they're going to fade significantly, okay? Just keep that in mind. Alright. The placement is so good. I love the placement. But yeah, these are going to fade like 60% basically. They're gonna like flake off, and then so in a week they'll look significantly lighter, and then in 6 weeks, 5 weeks, they'll be at like their actual color. But they're also gonna get smaller because there's a lot of these that are like not very deep. They're very shallow to kind of give that like shaded, realistic look. I'm very excited. I already love them.
So I don't know, man. What about you? I don't know, ladies. Is that something you would do? Would you get freckles tattooed on your face? Even this, and maybe lesser sense, but it's even like all the people at the WEF for their Agenda 2030, and then all the transhuman stuff happening. But it's all people playing God, And that's what I see even here, kind of. It's like this lady's playing God. God didn't do enough, but see, in his eyes, he made you perfect. Each and every one of us, a wondrous and fearful creation. But yeah, Anyway, I don't know. Would you do it? Let us know in chat. CBS News star set to be fired days after hiring over a disgusting set of Epstein emails. So there we go. So there's some consequences. CBS News is expected to fire its new wellness expert of all things after he appeared 1,741 times in the files. It's interesting to see some real world implications finally, right? For somebody, but let's see some big names, bigger names. Peter Attia called the notorious Epstein his friend in hundreds of emails they exchanged, all of them after Epstein was convicted. So, okay, we get it. There you go. Busted. Not to be trusted. See you later, sucker. Just uncovered hundreds of people who have been supporting the anti-ICE groups in North Carolina. Okay, so apparently they're doing more of this digital stuff, some of the digital sleuthing, and they're starting to bust some of the anti-ICE people. Here's another example. It says, my friend Data Republican has just uncovered that hundreds of people who've been supporting the anti-ICE groups in North Carolina are teachers, city council members, and school board members, and even mayors of major cities. What's going on? And here's the whole thing. So, Matt Van Swol or Data Republican, you can check those guys out if you want to see more on this. I'm starting at what looks like an organized, well-funded insurrection. I'm staring at what looks like an organized, well-funded insurrection against federal government. Yeah, they need to, send this over to the Fedders, I guess. It's pretty serious operation, man. I'm going over there. This is great. I always like Dr. Stella. She's a sister in Christ. She's really cool, interesting character. Talks about shifters, shapeshifters, all kinds of stuff. A lot of the stuff we're into. She's not afraid to tackle those subjects. She says, if you knew what the dead know, you would accept Jesus. So let's check what she's saying here.
Laura, if the living knew what the dead know, they will all give their life to Christ. If the living knew what 1 minute after you take your last breath, what is going to confront you at the other side of eternity, they will turn to Jesus. But the issue, the devil has put a blindfold on the hearts and the minds of people, so people don't truly recognize that in this world that I'm walking in, I was born in this world to be reconciled to God. That's why I say that if a 2-year-old dies, they've been reconciled, they win. So now a lot of our people are telling us that, yes, the world is evil. Yes, this is wicked, this is demonic. But please don't stop at just acknowledging that it is demonic. The safest place for anybody to be right now is in Christ. Because to die in Christ is gain. You know, the reason why the devil can cage people and harass people is because why they succeed is because people are afraid to die. But if you realize that to live is Christ, to die is gain. I mean, the devil is not trying to take me out before my time, but I'm not afraid to die because I know who I am. I know whose I am. I know I came to this world for a purpose. If I were to leave this world today, I have fulfilled my purpose.
Which is what?
Which is bring the light of God to the world.
Yeah, she's really great. I found her because of my uncensored show that I do on Monday over on Mean Green Grumble. She's really great, man. I found her originally because she is speaking out against the magic potion. But since then, I've been a big fan because she's a sister in Christ, very wise lady, and covers just some of the coolest subjects. Florida driver's license exams to be English only beginning on Friday. So this is some
starting this Friday. If you want a driver's license here in Florida, you'll have to take the test in English.
Oh boy.
This is a major shift in license exams.
Oh boy.
Our Channing Curtis is live right now. Channing, you spoke with a truck driving school about the impact this will have on that industry.
Absolutely. So now these changes apply to all license categories, including commercial licenses. Earlier today, I spoke with a man whose first language is Spanish, and he said taking the test in English was actually a challenge.
Being a person that speaks more Spanish and more fluently in Spanish, trying to understand it in a Spanish point of view, it's a little more difficult than understanding it in English.
Jose Ortiz Velasquez just completed his commercial driver's license exam.
They're not doing it in different language anymore, so they're just doing it in one. So what I advise, because I speak 2 languages, is that just practice, 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 practice.
Starting February 6th, the state of Florida will administer all driving tests, written, oral, and
That's
skills in
huge.
English only. No interpreters will be allowed.
Because it's not about just the test, it's also the job. And legitimate trucking carriers like Werner, Covenant, Swift, all of those major carriers are going to do an English proficiency test when they get there.
Sean Davis is the owner of CDL School, Inc. in Jacksonville. He's a big proponent of having all commercial driver's tests done in English, something he says is crucial to being a safe driver.
It doesn't say proficiency, it says sufficiently. So being able to have a simple conversation, understand road signs, understand, directions or guidelines is crucial.
The initiative comes after a commercial truck driver on the Florida Turnpike made an illegal U-turn, leading to the deaths of 3 people.
By working with states to adhere to a uniform policy of certain standards of English proficiency, starting there in all those different ways will eventually get to safer roads.
All right, there we go.
In a state-
I love it though. Isn't that great? I mean, it's good to see them finally making some moves because people have lost their lives because of that, because the wrong people were given CDL license. One guy that was busted, he had failed it 10 times, like his test 10 times. They still let him go through. It's in California. Trump responds to the Epstein file question and Trevor Noah, because Trevor Noah at the Grammys made a joke about Trump being all over the files or something. So I guess that's what this is about.
Trevor Noah last night in a post, you alluded that something could be coming.
Yeah, well, he said that I spent time on Jeffrey Epstein's island. I didn't. I mean, he's a lightweight. This guy, he's a terrible. I think he's terrible. I thought he did a terrible job at the Grammys. I thought the whole Grammys was terrible. I watched part of it. It's not watchable. But he was a lousy host. I'd say not as bad as Jimmy Kimmel, but pretty close. And no, he made a statement about me and Jeffrey Epstein. I have nothing to do with that. I have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. And in fact, if you look at the DOJ, they announced, they released 3 million pages. It's like this is all they're supposed to be doing. And frankly, the DOJ, I think, should just say, we have other things to do, because that whole thing has turned out, I mean, other than Bill Clinton and, Bill Gates and lots of people that there are a lot of questions about it, but nothing on me. But it was even sort of better than that, because they found that Jeffrey Epstein and this sleazebag writer named Michael Wolff were conspiring against Donald Trump to lose the election. So Epstein was conspiring with a writer for me to lose the election. So right there, you know that I had nothing to do with this guy. But yeah, it's a terrible thing. The amount of time that's being wasted. When Epstein was alive, like 10 years ago, nobody cared about it. But they're only doing it. But now it's really hitting back on them because Bill Clinton is such a big part of it. The Democrats are pushing it. And the problem is that it's turning out to be the Democrats that were with and conspired with Epstein. So I think you're probably going to see a little pullback from them. But think of it. They were working together to try and help me lose the election. But this is the Oval Office, so I guess that didn't work out too well. Okay, one more question.
Mr. President, do you have an update on U.S. troop level in Europe? Are you planning any force reductions?
No, we have a great relationship with Europe. We have a great relationship with our troops. The greatest, one of the...
I think that was about it. Mainly wanted to hear that about the files. So there's that. And then here's this. This is really, really wild one, man. And I'd only seen it over here on Benny Johnson's channel. What? Says proof Mamdani is Jeffrey Epstein's son? I know, right? I was like, are you kidding? But wait till you see this. It's like, it definitely makes you wonder. I had no idea.
Just like me, my boy was just like me.
What's up, guys? Benny, remember the good old days when everybody would make fun of Justin Trudeau for being Fidel Castro's bastard child? And the reason why we would do that is because Justin Trudeau's parents were dirty communists that loved to travel to communist Cuba, had many instances when they met Fidel Castro. His mother was clearly in love with Fidel Castro, and she got around, if you know what I mean. And also, well, Justin Trudeau doesn't look anything like his portly, short, bald dad. He looks everything like Fidel Castro. And so it leads people to ask, like, is this some type of selective breeding thing among the global elites and the Illuminati? Is this some type of sick ritual where they plan out who's going to be running the countries, generation after generation?
Yes.
Just like old royal families? Yeah.
3 world wars.
Maybe this is something like that.
You're able to do
More
that.
importantly, when Justin Trudeau was conceived, his parents were in the Caribbean. These are just matters of fact. And so, ladies and gentlemen, it's something that we've been researching, and something that shocked us was that maybe Zorhan Mandami is one of these kids. Maybe Zorhan Mandami, with his aspirational and absolutely parabolic rise to one of the most powerful communists on earth, has been installed. And he's just one of these little test tube babies that were bred out for exactly this moment. I don't know, man. I don't know. This is what people are saying on the internet. Let's go and investigate.
This is wild.
Jeffrey Epstein's secret son.
But I believe they do
could
that,
be?
all of it.
Sarah Ferguson congratulated the pedophile.
That's why they have satanic families, and that even goes back to Fritz Springmeier was talking about stuff like that, how they'll build that. They have satanic families, they'll breed with other families, and they'll raise children up to be whatever, right? Leaders.
On the birth of a baby boy, newly released email reveals. Sarah Ferguson congratulated Jeffrey Epstein on having a baby boy shortly after he was released from jail for soliciting sex from girls as young as 14. So-called Epstein files show the former Duchess of York offered him love, friendship, and congratulations on the a note that she sent the pedophile financier in September 2011. Well, all right. She says, congratulations on the new baby boy. I've heard from the Duke that you have had a baby boy. Well, as far as we know, Jeffrey Epstein has no children. Myra Nair. Her name's Myra Nair. She's born in India. She's a renowned director. Is she really a renowned director? Let's go ahead and check her IMDb. What has she directed exactly? Let's go ahead and check. Okay, all right. What else has she directed? Children of a Desired Sex.
What?
Got 1 star. But yeah, that's on a thing that's a thing that she directed. So that's not great. Here's some of the other things that she's directed.
She's done some stuff.
A Suitable Boy. I see why maybe Jeffrey Epstein would be interested in her work. All right, so enter. We're told by AI. All right, fine. Inside of the entertainment industry, the same kind of people that Jeffrey Epstein would smuggle and would bring around, and Jeffrey Epstein obviously took photos.
Jordan Peele
with other
Jordan Peele.
Creepy people inside of the entertainment industry, the same kind of people
Making
that
his pyramid.
Jeffrey Epstein would smuggle and would bring around, and Jeffrey Epstein obviously took photos of himself. Interesting.
Here it is.
Myra Nair holding an infant boy, Zorhan Mandami, with Jeffrey Epstein. Rumors circulating that these pictures and recently released photos are true.
Did you see that?
I think that they're AI. I think a lot of these photos are AI. This is a fake composite. They mix eras, and somebody is actually like digitally enhancing these images. Okay, but these are the images. Current New York City Mayor Zorhan Mandami is the biological son of Jeffrey Epstein. Again, this is the AI detection. Part of this images was edited with Google AI. I first met Nair Mandami in 1991. Funny, smart, and easy to talk to. We caught up briefly at Epstein's party. Hear me out.
You ain't getting up and get up into that lie to us. You lied to us.
This is some of the New Yorkers turning against him now. The lefty rioter style are turning against Mamdani now because of all of his empty promises. A free bus fare, right? There's one of them, and now he's not cleaning up the streets. So people are getting mad. Now they turn against you. Ha ha.
So they're
ha ha. All right, there we go. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm not sure. I need to look more into that one myself, but you can go check that out on Benny's channel if you would like to see the rest of it. Here's another potential Mothman sighting. Been making waves. Yeah, there've been over the last few months, there've been like 2 or 3 other little videos where people say it's the Mothman. I didn't really share them because I didn't think they were that great myself, but this one's pretty intriguing. What would you do if you saw this?
We have another potential Mothman sighting for you. This is coming from a witness in Delaware. They actually captured this video right before snow and winter really hit full on, and they claim that they saw Mothman on top of the tree. I've zoomed in as much as I could and I've reduced the speed as much as I could, but take a look at the video, comment below and tell us what you think. Could this be the fabled Mothman, or is this some other very large nocturnal bird?
It's that Cassius Thundercock, guys! Look at that! The Mothman! Holy shit, look at that! Look at that! This is not normal. This is...
There it is. See it up there in the top? Top of a tree. It's big, whatever it is. Real big. I wish he had turned his camera around. Does he? No, he doesn't. All right. Okay. I would have tried to do another pass or something. That's me. Video unavailable? What the crap? That's not good. Mel Gibson's
This is absolutely...
Mel Gibson's shocking video is just the beginning. 5 days ago. Let me see what the video is. Let's see if we can get this video to play from Mel Gibson. Here we go. See what Mel says. Apparently they're in production of the Resurrection movie right now.
Let's go ahead and check out this video where, as you can see by the caption here, there are some things that could be in the works here, which would be absolutely phenomenal to see.
Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass have already proven their incompetence and poor leadership during the Los Angeles wildfires. Now, as we experience rampant lawlessness and civil unrest, it's never been more clear they're unable to respond effectively and responsibly during calamity. Whether it's sheer incompetence or outright malevolence, the reality is stark. California's in a state of turmoil, and I ask my fellow Angelenos, why are Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass still in office? How much more of their destructive decision-making masquerading as leadership are we going to tolerate? It's time to take back our community and our state and put the power and the privilege in the hands of competent leaders whose goals are to protect us and the way of life this nation was founded upon and promises to offer. That's all.
Now, I don't know about you, but I think that Mel Gibson would probably make a better governor than Gavin Newsom.
I'll say this, that, love him or hate him, if you're an American, I highly suggest you watch the movie Patriot. The Patriot. That is such a cool movie. Because I just watched it again about a year ago. It was just something that was on. It was on Prime. I was like, why not? Forgot how great that was. Blew me away. Like, really good. Really exciting, too. Some awesome sequences in that movie. The Patriot from Mel Gibson. It's freaking awesome. Now they say Clooney is in the Epstein files. So see, we're starting to see some fallout, which is nice. I guess we'll watch a little bit of this clip. This is a recent video of George Clooney. He's looking frail because he hadn't been to the island in a while. Maybe that's why.
And a little, I don't know, under the weather, weak, thin, skinny, gaunt, refuses to shake a hand with one of his fans here as he slithers backstage for his Broadway show. That's what he's been reduced to. The once great actor, as Quentin Tarantino says, was never actually a movie star, one of the most least impressive people in all of Hollywood, somebody who doesn't even live in America anymore because, well, he's worried. That's right. He moved his family to a farm in France because he's worried. Why was George Clooney worried? Why was he worried right here around the time of the election? Was it that Donald Trump was getting back into office? George Clooney was worried that he was in the Epstein files. That's what many people said, and turns out to be true. George Clooney is in the Epstein files. George Clooney does have connections to Epstein. We're going to go through all of them right now, directly from the DOJ's own website. Here we go. And Clooney is something that Jeffrey Epstein was sending to someone. You asked to remind you about George Clooney. Confirmed for 12:30 tomorrow.
Massage at 12:30 tomorrow.
So looks like George Clooney's kind of in the zeitgeist here. Then we have other emails about George Clooney in Copenhagen with a smiley face emoji. What does George Clooney in Copenhagen mean? I know Copenhagen has interesting girls. Asked Gianni if we could see the agencies on his behalf. Still no reply. Kiss, kiss. What? What does that mean? So it's Jeffrey Epstein emailing about George Clooney in Copenhagen. Presumably, name has been blotted out. In fact, what about George Clooney? Huh? Okay. Well, there's just a lot of like commentary about George Clooney. This wouldn't be the first time that George Clooney's name has come up in relation to Jeffrey Epstein. George Clooney accused of sex act with Ghislaine Maxwell. Oh, well, Ghislaine Maxwell apparently bragged about sexual encounters with George Clooney.
Oh, boy.
Yikes. Or say that Maxwell constantly talked about her globe-trotting tryst that she made, where she went around with a bunch of Hollywood actors and actresses. Once she came back giddy as a schoolgirl with an explosion of news, all to build up the excitement in her voice. She was the crown. She'd given George Clooney a blowjob in the bathroom. As I'm writing that. She kept talking.
Classy lady, eh? All right, so we're going to move on from that. You can go check out the rest on Benny's channel if you're interested. Now here's more people talking about this one here. Putting this out there. We'll have to see how much of it's AI, right? Because you want it to all be real. I mean, part of it's real. That's what they were saying. But that's going to be one people are going to keep digging into, which is good. Keep digging. Because if there's any truth to it, it needs to come out. You got to admit, anyway, it is pretty crazy that... Well, were they in the files? I guess they were in the files, too. She was, right? So, I don't know. I have to look more into it. Tom Cruise abandons his $47 million London apartment over fears the city is now unsafe. Duh, right? The Top Gun actor has left his Knightsbridge apartment permanently after an armed gang robbed a Rolex store in his neighborhood. And the city's seen a wave of crime under Mayor Sadiq Khan. Yep, all by design, unfortunately, sir. Unfortunately, property values are going to just go right into the crapper out there in that whole area. This is a weird one. What do you think it is? You settled into your flight at 30,000 feet somewhere over America. The stew brings refreshments. You're watching a movie. You glance out your window, and this is what you hear people screaming about. I'll let it play a few times. It's kind of hard to make out at first. First, I thought it was one of the berserkers. Looks like something's crashing. Doesn't it? I don't know if it's real either. This one might be this could be an AI maybe. Because the back sounds weird though. Alright, the screaming and all that. It's hard to sit. That doesn't sound... You know what? Let's press Grok and see.
They're not real after all. The whole thing was AI. Can you believe that, Freya? I would never have guessed.
But how did 280,000 people think that was real? Oh my goodness. But we are entering a very dystopian future where even my feed on social media, I will get AI generated videos, and sometimes you do have to do a double take and go, is this real or is this AI? But half of those 280,000 followers are also probably AI bot accounts as well. So you've got AI accounts being followed by other AI bot accounts. It's just a weird world we live in.
You mean the DM I got saying that they wanted to marry me wasn't real? That they don't actually exist? Oh no, I can't believe it. I mean, you go and look at their profile. Well, 2 points. They're up to, last I checked, it was 289,000 now. So they're still growing, probably actually more followers now that this story's come out. The AI bots insist that they're not AI, of course. Their videos have upwards of 6 million views a piece. I don't think, when I looked at that, and they've got maybe a dozen videos up there, all AI generated, of course. There's not one of them has fewer than 1 million views, so they're getting big numbers. But the thing I like about them most, as much as I hate artificial intelligence, is that they have maybe most accurately used pronouns, more so than anyone I've seen, because they've noted on their profile that their pronouns are she, her, they, them. And it's probably the only accurate use of they, them I have seen, because they are actually referring to plural people here. They're not just referring to one individual who wants to be a they, them. And while we're talking about AI, as though, you know, these things on social media weren't bad, I still can't believe people can't tell that that's AI. But anyway, if it wasn't bad enough that you've got AI bots pretending to be hot conjoined twins on social media, you've also got AI bots creating their own social media now. Well, actually, they don't create it, but there's a bloke who's been playing around.
There we go. So he's going back to Moltbook, as we know, right? So, and yeah, it is interesting. I'll probably look at some more of it tonight just to read what these AI is saying to each other. So this gentleman here, Real Moon Henry, is covering this story we were talking about earlier, the Guthrie story. It's pretty strange, you know? It's pretty strange. Let's see what he found.
And a missing doorbell camera at Nancy Guthrie's house, the mom of Savannah Guthrie, who, crazy enough, interviewed Virginia Guthrie. Although there's allegedly no family connection between Savannah and Virginia. But let me show you guys just how suspect this chain of events really is for those who are not caught up, and for those that are. So Nancy goes missing, they find her blood, and they also find the doorbell camera missing. At the same time, TMZ got a literal ransom note demanding Bitcoin for the return of Nancy. It's written like a ransom note. Blocking out the bad part of her face. So what happened was basically Savannah interviewed Virginia as well as 5 other girls. Not too long after, she got hit by a literal freaking bus, and not long after that, she unalived herself, they say. Now, of course, this news drops over the weekend at the same time we had the news I showed you in the last video, as well as Joe Biden's ex-husband unaliving his wife. But riddle me this. Why in the world would they give their ransom note to TMZ of all people? Because they wanted the story to be mainstream and everybody to be seeing it and focusing on it. Also, very weird how Savannah Guthrie, Virginia Guthrie have the same exact almost name. It really makes you wonder, especially when you look at, you know, Zohran's mom, and of course, that connection right here. It almost makes you wonder if they have now found blood and a missing doorbell camera.
Yeah, so that'll be an interesting, like I said, I'm going to be keeping my eyes on the Mamdani Mommy connection to the files. It's interesting. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. See what comes up. It's a pretty interesting one. This is from TikTok News Channel, which is so weird on this channel, I've noticed. I don't know what's going on with them. I wonder if they're being heavily shadow banned or something. And they might be, just because YouTube's got a policy about just sharing clips with no narration. That happened with a lot of those channels that do the freak out channels. There's like public freakouts and different channels like that, that compilation videos of people spazzing out in public. And over the years now, those guys have all had to start narrating and coming on camera, some of them, because of some new policy YouTube put into place. So I'm wondering if that's what's happening here, that AI caught them or something. And because that's all they do is just share TikTok videos all the time. And sometimes they're good. You know, I watch, I sub to them. But they got over 33,000 subscribers. They got 1 thumbs up and 0 comments. And I find this under all, this from 3 days ago, 12 views. Something's up. You see what I'm saying? Like, I think this is evidence this channel is probably getting throttled down pretty heavy. That being said, let's check out this lady's scary story.
I don't ever do these or post anything like this. I hate posting stuff like this. But if you live in the Wilmington area, if you live anywhere near the area of Monkey Junction, I just had a guy who was purposely in the middle of the road in pitch black, was shining the lighter at my car, tried to stab my tire with something I couldn't figure out, make it out what it was. I swerved to try not to hit him, and he had a cone set up in the lane that I was in to try and get me to hit the code. When I swerved, he had sticks and a bunch of like fallen tree limbs and pine straw set up, trying to get me to hit that to get me to wreck. I don't know his intentions. I don't know any intentions behind that, besides nothing but evil. So if you live in this area and you're out late tonight, literally, please be careful. All I can say is if you're in that situation, go. That was the only thing I could think of. I think I probably hit 100 miles an hour, but that's all that I had to do. I had to go.
There you go. It's a warning. And we had, when I lived in Maui, I had a thing where, so when I was in Maui in the Coast Guard, we did search and rescue in law enforcement. And some of the search and rescues would happen late at night. So we were always on call, always 24/7 on call, you know, and so you'd get your phone would ring in the middle of the night. You'd have to get up and get changed and rush out there and do the search and rescue. So we did a lot of that. And then you'd come home in the middle of the night, you know, when you're done. So one night I was driving home. It was a part of the road I was on where it was all just cane fields all around me, and you couldn't really see anything. But as I'm driving, there's a car, it's got its hazards on, and there's a guy out there, and he's acting like he's working on the wheel or something like that. So I start slowly kind of driving around the side. He starts waving like, stop. So I stop for a second. I'm like, maybe I could just help this guy, see what's going on here. As I did, people started coming out of at least two people, one on each side, started rustling around through the cane, the sugar cane, and walking out. So I just drove on, man. I drove around the guy and just cruised out of there. And maybe they were both going to the bathroom or something, you know, on different sides. I thought about that. You know, maybe that was it, and I was just overreacting. But I don't know. It felt weird. I didn't like it. Smashing Pumpkins frontman Billy Corgan rips pop stars for satanic representation. So, okay, good. And that was at the 33rd annual K-Rock, almost acoustic Christmas, I guess. Or that was the picture. Miley Cyrus wore a giant brooch with her own initials on Grammy's red carpet. Just showing the picture, when I saw this, it made me think of the Hunger Games. Doesn't that kind of remind you of the Hunger Games? I need to go back and look at the picture, but Lady Gaga did something similar. She wore something that was obviously looked like a Hunger Games emblem. Because the Hunger Games are coming, you know, for sure. They've been attacking food production system now for years. I've been sharing a lot of that kind of information over on Monday's show. Don Lemon, the creep that went into the church with all the crazy rioters and screamed and yelled and scared people. At a church, Don Lemon now is to be honored with a Lifetime Achievement Award at the Truth Awards, guys. At the Truth Awards. Yeah. They write themselves. They write themselves. On the heels of being arrested over his reporting over his anti-ICE protest in a church, he's set to receive a Lifetime Achievement Award at the 12th Annual Truth Awards. So there's that, guys. Welcome to the beast system, where everything's upside down. Peter Thiel warns the Antichrist and apocalypse are linked to the end of modernity currently happening and cites Greta Thunberg as a driving example. Headlines here. Children under 12 with smartphones face higher risk of depression and obesity. Another headline. AI bot says it figured out how to wipe out all of mankind. We saw that earlier with the CIA program. Epstein files claim first scalp as elite law firm boss Brad Karp resigns over embarrassing emails. So another person, and we saw the reporter getting knocked out. So we're seeing some motion here. That's good. The entire English language is one big spell, this young lady says. Reminds me of Brother Theo, Unplug 'em, and spell-ing.
Girl, kind of decoding languages. And for the past 2 months, I've been trying to learn Arabic. And I have also realized in this time that English sets us up to subconsciously automatically think negatively and lock us into negative thinking. And here's how. For instance, in English, we would say, I am angry. We are defining ourselves as a whole as angry, which locks us in mentally. But in Arabic, I'll say it in English because I don't really know how to speak Arabic, obviously. They say, anger is passing through me.
I do like that.
It's a motion. It doesn't define you and it doesn't keep you stuck. We say, I am anxious, instead of saying, anxiety is passing through me. Now, obviously, this sounds small, but subconsciously, when we say, I am blank, we think this is who I am. So it is harder to get out of that thinking. And instead of saying stuff like, I am behind, we say, the timing hasn't aligned yet. By saying the things in the positive annotations, it
I like
allows
that.
us to look forward to moving on, or knowing that this is going to pass, instead of being stuck in anger, stuck in anxiety,
That's wise.
stuck in sadness, etc. And no, you do not have to change languages, but you should start keeping in mind how you structure your sentences, because it might just keep you stuck in something negative.
Love it.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah, that's totally my wheelhouse. I'm with all that. That's really good. I like that. Reframing that. That's good. I always say, I've said for years, I'm real careful in real life about the way I speak on myself or my circumstances. Always careful what you're saying out loud, because they're always listening and they'll use anything against you. I know some people don't like to think like that, but it's the truth. The demons are real. They're all around you. You have some assigned to you. Maybe one for your whole life, right? Like angels, but the opposite. And they watch and they wait and they intermingle. New Yorkers are losing patience with Mamdani. That's why we need Jesus. Another reason why, right? Protection. Here's another New Yorker that's not happy.
I did a video about Mamdani not cleaning up the trash in New York, and people were like, oh, it's because of city snow, because of ice. Do you see this? This is because of nothing. Look, this is the Great Wall of New York City trash. This is now a national landmark, actually. You can't even see that there is a road on the opposite side of this. I'm about 6 feet tall. Look at this. This is my height. At the very least, I'll give it to Mamdani. They separated the recycles and the wall of trash. So you have a nice wall of recycles here and a beautiful wall of trash here. This is insane. I did a video about Mamdani not cleaning up the...
All right, sir. Hopefully y'all see some change, but I would not hold my breath because it seems to be all part of the plan, right? Elon Musk just put a deadline on Earth. Says we have 30 months left. 30 months left. That's not long, y'all. I wonder what he knows.
It's harder to scale on the ground than it is to scale in space. Any given solar panels can do about 5 times more power in space than on the ground. So it's actually much cheaper to do in space. My prediction is that it will be by far the cheapest place to put AI will be space in 36 months or less, maybe 30 months.
36 months?
Less than 36 months. You can mark my words. In 36 months, but probably closer to 30 months, the most economically compelling place to put AI will be space. And then it will get like ridiculously better to be in space. Once you start thinking in terms of what percentage of the sun's power are you harnessing, you realize you have to go to space. You can't scale very, very much on Earth.
But by very much, to be clear, you're talking like terawatts.
Yeah. Well, all over the United States currently uses only half a terawatt of power on average.
Yeah.
Right. So, if you say a terawatt, that would be twice as much electricity as the United States currently consumes. So that's quite a lot. And can you imagine building that many data centers? I mean,
All right, so we get the idea. Elon Musk talking about space, the final frontier, but not really. Mr. Beast, man, he's one to watch. He's definitely ever since he signed up with the Bloodline, he's doing some weird stuff. And I shared some of that on my Uncensored show, some of the stuff he's getting involved with now. But now he's eating a $70,000 pizza.
But it was good. I did too, to be honest. It's a little weird because I know we're going to eat a $70,000 pizza later, so it's kind of hard to get hyped for like a $2,000 steak. You know what I mean? Really like, oh my God. Whoa. It's like slicing into a baby. Poor special words.
It's like slicing into a what? Why would he say that? What do Mr. Beast really know? Because a $70,000 pizza, I don't know about y'all, but I don't know if he was doing one of them videos where they go eat expensive food. Like, you remember the 2 Chainz video, he's eating the gold on the steak and stuff like that. But Then after that, somebody next to you proceeds to say, oh, it's like slicing into a what? Maybe somebody knows a lot of information and they're guilt tripping somebody. Or maybe it's an inside joke. I don't view that as, oh yeah, they're just eating $70,000 steak for a YouTube video. He's Mr. Beast. You know, Mr. Beast is deep in philanthropy. All them entities love doing philanthropy. All the Bill Gates and all them. And guess who we partner with? Do your homework on who Mr. Beast made a partnership with. You can see it right by my chest. It's in thin line. It been in your face the whole time. Just that's how information be in your face, just like that. You don't even know it's sitting right there.
All right, thanks, sir. We know it. We see it. We've covered it. Yep, it's freaky. And a $70,000 pizza. I don't like it. A lot of stuff about Pizza-Gate came out in the files, by the way, totally proving how real it all was. And I'm covering more of that on Monday's show. But that's just a reminder. You know, it's something that Jeff C. is covering hardcore, and I myself a little bit. But he was really on it back around 2015. So, I mean, over a decade ago, it's 2016, a decade or so ago, we were all talking about this. Is why I'm not all spazzed out about, oh my gosh, they've released them. I need to look at everything. It's like, we know most of the stuff, you know, plus I don't, again, bathe in stuff like that. You know what I mean? I mean, I've got my limits. I can handle a lot of dark material and all that. I've been doing it for years, but like I said, I got my limits too. You know, I can't, got to take breaks, take a lot of breaks. Not every monster hides in the dark. Some walk right up to your front door. Okay, this one's pretty creepy too. What do you think about this? What would you do if you woke up? This looks like just an apartment complex. What would you do if you woke up one morning and looked at your Ring cam and saw this happen last night? This is really weird.
Very real. And no, they're not always creatures and cryptids. Sometimes they're just your fellow man. Take a look at this home security camera. It catches something.
It looks like another, you know, trans individual, if you will. And we've seen other evidence of some of those folks being a bit maniacal, like with a lot of the mass bang-bangs and all.
Absolutely horrifying. What appears to be an unidentified man trying doors, trying to get into people's homes. We can only wonder why. But looking at what's in his hand, you can pretty much get the picture. Always watch your surroundings. Immediately close your doors as soon as you arrive home and lock them. Stay safe and stay vigilant.
Mommy, someone's at the door. Let him in. Looking for a key under the mats is pretty wild, or diabolical, some might say. Watch them go upstairs now. Now that's one of the scarier clips I've seen in a while. Yeah, carrying the blade in the mouth, ready to go. And then the checking under the mats, man, that's just like, oh boy. They're really wanting to get in. They don't care who. They want to get in on somebody. It's a demon face syndrome to me. It's a monster amongst us coming out at night on the hunt. Did anybody forget to lock their door tonight? If they did, then I shall take their life. It's scary, man. Trust in Jesus. Lean into Jesus. New Yorkers are shocked and appalled after Ugandan Mayor Zoran Mamdani visits and consoles a man who tried to remove a cop's life with a blade. And now here he is actually talking to the family.
And as you said, I spoke with the Chakraborty family, and I visited Chavez in the hospital. And there is no family should have to endure this kind of pain.
Papa, no! Hey, put the knife down! Put the knife down! Put the knife down! Put the knife down! Put the knife, move! Put the knife down! Put the knife down! Put the knife down!
And as as you said, I spoke with the Chakraborty family, and I visited.
So there you go. So it's yeah. All right. There you go.
You know the Ted Bundy story?
I
About his
mean,
final
it speaks for itself. You know, it speaks for itself. You know, defending. Yeah.
victim that he never got to Ted Bundy, when he was like dying, and then he had a priest come to him and pray for him for his like final, you know, anointment of the sick. Okay. He confessed about his last victim he never got to kill. What? So he killed these two girls, went into the rooms, and he was headed to another girl's room, but he claims something out of the ordinary pushed the weapon out of his hand, and almost like a force, he wasn't able to walk through the door. And that priest, he was actually met with the girl that would have been a victim way prior to this. Okay. So the story is that girl, she actually made a promise to her mother that every single night, because she's away for school, she would pray the rosary for protection. Fire. And she actually fell asleep that night when the girls got murdered in her bed with a rosary in her hand. No. And Ted Bundy, he always never understood it, and he wanted to ask the priest, like, there's this moment when I was gonna go and murder this other woman. I just can't explain it. Can you tell me what happened there? And he explained how, like, force pushed the weapon out of his hand, and he was trying to, and he couldn't even go through the door. Priest told him, it just so happens I know that girl. She spoke to me before. It was about how she used to pray the rosary because she promised to her mother. You know what?
Love it. That's pretty cool, man. I always like those kind of stories. Beautiful. Sorry for the victims, though, of course. There's that. So they're basically telling you what they're doing, and people here still having their faith in governments and politicians. So they're trying to make the point that this is JD, the vice president. I think he's talking about a brand new world system.
What's happening culturally in Europe, what's
Very
their
sad.
crackdowns on free speech, they just
so
look
sad.
less and less like we do.
Yeah.
And there's a real question about whether there's a massive shift happening now in terms of world alliances long term.
Well, it's definitely, I think, a new world order. I think the president has sought to it. There's a new world order in trade. There's a new world order in globalization and the way that we invest in our economy versus, foreign supply chains. There's a new world order, and the president is willing to shake up some old alliance structures. I mean, NATO, I think, is much different because of the president's leadership than it was 10 years ago. It was sort of coasting. It was effectively a protectorate of the United States of America. Obviously, you saw what happened in Venezuela. So, yeah, the president is putting a stamp on world history, but fundamentally in an America First way. Like
What's happening?
So there's that. I think some people are raising a ruckus. But it's obvious there's an order happening, and America is pretty much the last country holding out anything. And it's coming no matter what. The Bible tells us so. So if you haven't accepted Jesus, please do, my friend. Olivia Dean was censored when she said Jesus Christ during her Grammy speech. So she wanted to thank Jesus, and they muted it out. They have a 10-second delay. They can do that.
Yeah, she said Jesus Christ and they blurred it out. Yeah, she said Jesus.
Said, thank you, Jesus Christ. And then that's the part they blurred out. Yep. They hate him. This world hates him. You know that, right? Something isn't right. Ariana Grande does something strange. Did you guys ever see this? I've seen... Oh, wait. Clickbait. All right, never mind then. Her finger... It looks like something weird happens here with this chicken wing. Right here, watch. She keeps doing this weird thing. It's like with the chicken wing. And then you saw it kind of flip up over there, it looked like. Oh boy. So I don't know. Guess they're saying it had something to do with the angle or something. I'm not sure, but she's probably a witch. I mean, from all the videos she's made, even about Mother Earth and all this, and I'm sure she's part of the club, obviously, and it's sad what it's doing to her. It looks like it's draining her life force. Not in that clip, though, but you know what I mean. Says, there it is. L.A. Mayor Karen Ass personally ordered the Pacific Palisades fire cover-up. Yep.
Billionaire real estate developer Rick Caruso is reconsidering his decision not to run for L.A. mayor or elected office this year. It comes after new allegations that Mayor Karen Bass may have ordered a Palisades fire after action report to be watered down. Eyewitness News reporter Liz Nagy joining us live from Pacific Palisades. Liz.
Mark, tonight, Rick Caruso tells Eyewitness News he has heard from a lot of people today urging him to reconsider running for mayor. All of this comes after a report from the LA Times that alleges Mayor Karen Bass changed and withheld details in the Palisades report. Tonight, Mayor Bass is defiant. She says she and her staff made no changes.
Driving into a still dark and desolate Pacific.
Go ahead and move on. I believe him. We know. It's totally. And again, people, they're incompetent. It's like, but what if it's by design? You know, they have plans for these lands that these things keep happening to. Meanwhile, across America, so somebody want to tell me what kind of snow melts like this? Yeah, people are reporting, at least this person is, some very strange snow activity.
So, does somebody want to tell me what kind of snow melts like this? Look at it. It's like rubbery.
That's scary.
It's crazy. Look at the film on top of the ice. Look at this. Look at this. Tell me what kind of snow melts like that.
None I've ever seen. What do you think? Yeah, that totally looks like some engineering, right? More playing God. That's what we see. They could order and eat caviar and lobster for the rest of their lives. Why would they order pizza? It's a good point. So let's see what this young lady's saying about the files. This is one example.
You could order foie gras, caviar, and lobster for every single meal for the rest of their lives and still own every house in your neighborhood. Okay? Why would they be ordering pizza?
Love you to come over for pizza, bud. How was the pizza? Was it good? Oh, what? Did he make it
Amal's
himself?
pizza was better than Clooney's. They
Yeah,
both made, everybody made a certain kind of pizza.
There's no pizza we didn't love. Something that he doesn't.
Five different
do better
kinds.
than
Five
everybody
different
else.
kinds or 6 different kinds of pizza that night.
Let's be
Clooney's was
quiet.
excellent.
Shut your tr-
Amal's was the winner.
Thank you very much for this prestigious award. To show my appreciation, I am inviting you all to a pizza party tonight at Jennifer Aniston's house. I'll see you there.
Her parties are incredible at her house, too.
Yeah, she does have good parties, and she makes good pizza as well.
She makes great pizza,
Wonderful, wonderful pizza.
7,000 documents worth of pizza. It's not about pizza, is it? Mm-mm.
Well done, lady. Thanks. It's the golf lady. She's a new one I found over the last few weeks. A golf truth lady. It works, you know? Super Bowl decoded. Man, this guy's deep, so hang on tight. It's only a minute or so long, but listen to this.
What people don't understand about this upcoming Super Bowl is a ritualistic, synchronized, energetic ceremony that is layered with subconscious programming. Now, let me explain it to you. Now, one of the main reasons why they chose Bad Bunny to perform at the Super Bowl is because his track listing for the Super Bowl is acclimated to the timeline. Now, he has a song called El Apagón, which is translated in English, which means blackout. Now, the blackout in itself, when you look at the color spectrum of the Super Bowl symbol, it's a representation of the emergency broadcasting system. And then remember, I was telling you guys about the 85 seconds to midnight because 85 in ancient gematria translates to blackout. Another song that Bad Bunny is going to be performing at the Super Bowl is called Perro Negro, because Perro Negro in translations means black dog. And the black dog in ancient medieval folklore means the black shuck dog, who is also the personification of the harbinger of destruction, which is basically in alignment with an omen. Now, this is also equated to ancient Kemetic spirituality when you're talking about Anubis, who was also known as the god of judgment. So they're basically telling you something's about to happen. Now, when you get into Mesoamerican cosmology, the rabbit is in alignment with the lunar cycle, which is a representation of cycles, emotions, and the activation of the subconscious mind. That is another reason why they chose Bad Bunny, because they also chose San Francisco because San Francisco is a gateway city. A gateway city that unlocked the subconscious mind, because this is why it's in alignment with the symbolism of the Golden Gate, because the Golden Gate in itself is a representation of the unlocking of the galactic center.
Told you he was good. Bedell 1014 if you want to look him up, but that was pretty interesting. The files. True creator of Bitcoin. Here's another one that you can check out. I'm not sure where to play. I'll just use the headline from Benny Johnson. I got a lot from him this week. He had a lot of good ones. But there's there at one point it makes you think that Epstein's the one that created Bitcoin, but he didn't. At the end, I think he finally realizes it. But he was talking about Bitcoin. Epstein was a couple of years before, we really knew about it. It's pretty interesting. It says he sent $850,000, I'm guessing, in Bitcoin. No? Well, to MIT between 2002 and 2017. Digital currency. Yeah. They were funded by MIT Digital Currency Initiative, the group that paid Bitcoin core developers during a funding crisis. So there is some connections there. It's interesting. And it is crashing. It's really crashing bad right now. Bitcoin has been for a few days. Maybe in relation to the release of that. I don't know. Trump just signed the rule to fire 50,000 deep state bureaucrats, and it's official.
Of the government civil service system on Thursday. The changes released by the Office of Personnel Management, or OPM, will give President Donald Trump the ability to make decisions on hiring and firing, fulfilling one of his campaign pledges.
There are thousands of people who work for the federal government here in Washington, D.C.
Caroline Leavitt on Thursday called the changes a good thing.
I think if people aren't doing their jobs, if they aren't showing up for work, if they're not working hard on behalf of this president, they're not welcome to work for him.
Yeah, they found that there's a lot of people that went to remote work after 2020 in the government, and they never, ever, ever came back, and they're still getting paid. It's pretty interesting. Toronto City Councillor Shelley Carroll announces they have renamed a park. This is very important. This is more of that woke mind virus, unfortunately, turning people's brains into mashed potatoes.
Hence the name Eta Nona Wastina. It translates to where they lived good and beautiful lives. Learning to say the name is just a small way we can all be accountable to healing our relationship with our nation's First Peoples. So let's go. Try it with me.
Okay.
Eta Nona Wastina. Eta Nona Wastina.
They all wear the same glasses. And they all look alike, right? Like, they have that man haircut and bob haircut. Etanana Wastina. I'll meet you at the corner of Etanana Wastina. If you like.
Resentment, so much chaos.
I'll play that one next week because I need to find a point on that. I was still watching it. Spiritual warfare in the files. Let's see what this young lady says.
So a lot of things have been released recently. A lot of things have been coming out. And the Lord has put on my spirit that I need to share with you exactly what is going on. There is a completely deeper agenda, especially with these Epstein files being released. If you've briefly seen them or looked over them, you're probably deeply disturbed. And there's some things that we need to talk about because we're calling this a scandal. The news, the media is calling this whole thing a scandal. But a scandal is literally a lapse in judgment. But what we are looking at in these 3 million pages are satanic. And it is an absolute spiritual warfare what's going on. And I'm going to go deeper in this video. The Lord's put on my spirit to share this word structure. What they feed off. It's human emotion. It's like a pendulum, right? And it's a thought structure that feeds on human emotion. So this elite pendulum is the most predatory one on the planet right now. It thrives on your horror. It wants you to be scared. It wants you to feel heavy. It wants you to have that sinking pit in your stomach when you read the files, when you see what they are doing. Why? Because as long as you are in a state of shock, you are vibrating on their frequency. So they want you to believe that the darkness is omnipotent, that it's everywhere, and that justice is impossible, that God has abandoned these poor victims, that God has abandoned the innocent. But just know that this is a psychological and spiritual snare. It's all crafted. It's all being designed so that we, looking in as outsiders, are being like, wow, how could this happen? So if they can get you to obsess over the darkness, they have successfully hooked on your life force. Listen, So you become a battery for the very system that you claim to hate. We're going to go deeper. So Jesus tells us in scripture, if you do not fast as regards the world, you will not find the kingdom. So these elites have done the opposite. They've done the complete opposite. They have gorged themselves on the world, right? Attempting to achieve a counterfeit immortality. They use knowledge, secret knowledge, through masonry, through Masonic rituals, or hidden elite knowledge. And that's all from the occult. They use knowledge to hide, but the Holy Spirit is the frequency, is the spirit of revelation. So they are using all of these Masonic rituals that go so dark and so deep. The thing is, the Holy Spirit is now revealing what is happening. So this is a war between the...
All right, I'll go and stop there. And it just goes a few more minutes. It's like 8 minutes long. But you can go check out the rest from her, Estelle Richter. I want to follow. But Estelle Richter, Spiritual Warfare and the Epstein Files, if you want to see some more of that. I'm going to go check out her channel, too, and see what else she's got. And that brings us to the very last
every time
video.
you dream with someone, it's the real person and not just a dream? Yes.
Excuse me. Scientists claim that our dreams are real in another reality. Let's check this out real quick. But before I do, let me just say hi to y'all. Whoa, we got over 1,000 awesome, cool, interesting, critically thinking people spending their precious time with me today, man. So I appreciate your time so much. And for those that watch later, thank you so much, man. Bless you. Appreciate you. All right, let's check out this last video. Her.
Every time we dream with someone, it's the real person and not just a dream? Yes. Scientists just confirmed that our dreams are real in another reality. Now, to the average folk, we are just living this 3D realm and dreams are just dreams, right? No, dreams are real, okay? I got an Akashic record reading done in 2022 and I want to tell you what my guide said about the dream realm. So I asked, when we dream, do we really enter alternate realities, parallel universes, or other rooms? And my guides said, oh yes, of course. You know the saying, life is but a dream? You are in a waking dream. When you go to sleep, you enter other dreams, all of which are equally real. Oftentimes, the dream that we wake up with, the memory of the dream we had, is not the real dream that we had. It is almost an implanted memory from your own soul, from your higher self, to almost summarize and symbolically.
I'll go and leave there. All right. Sounds a little wacky to me, but that's okay. Still a good ending point. Hey, yeah, and if you're looking for something to do tonight, there's a big fight for the fighters, so the people who like watching fights. It's right there on my screen. Knucklemania 6 live tonight, free. It's going to be pretty crazy. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it's probably happening, I guess, 6 p.m. my time. So it's pretty cool. So if you're into the fights, you can check it out. But you know what? We're not here to talk about the fights. I wanted to, again, thank you all very much. Thank you, Tamara, so much for all your help. Always. I didn't leave my link up today, but please follow on Subscribestar. And thank you a million times for those who do. Thanks again also to the YouTube members. And I just went in today. I found the thing, so I'm trying to make sure y'all have. There's all these little extras I can offer, so I'm trying to put those things in there. But thank you, and thanks for anybody who supports my videos and shows in whichever way. I really appreciate it. And what I want to do real quick is always do this at the end of my shows because I need to give some time to my Father, of course, in heaven. Always, because he's the one that provided this for me through so many years, also through you. So thank you so much again. But just a bit of talk about salvation. You know, if you haven't chosen that free gift of salvation, please do, because this is what I've been doing for years now, trying to show you, share with you what time it is and how important it is to make sure you choose Christ. You know, let go of this world, man, and look at how corrupt and horrible it keeps getting. I mean, it's getting worse. And that doesn't spaz me out. I cheer it on because I know it's biblical. This is what time it is. We're seeing a shift of everything, a shift of ages. We're going into the final system of enslavement, death, you know, all that, right? And Jacob's trouble. The people in the Middle East are going to learn a really important lesson. And on and on and on. But about you, you can be connected to the creator of all things. Just accept that free gift of salvation. Admit you're a sinner. Ask Jesus to save you. Be filled with the Holy Spirit. Trust in his blood sacrifice. It covers all your sins, past, present, and future. Most important sacrifice ever, ever, ever. That's what gets us in. He stood in our way, in our place, because we're sinful people, all of us. If you're in this system, you're covered in it. And that's the only way to wipe your record clean, is to trust in him and trust in that sacrifice. know he's the creator that came here in the flesh, lived a perfect life, died a horrible death, buried, 3 days later resurrected, ascended to heaven, and he's coming back for his bride very soon. So remember that salvation is found in no one else, for there is no other name under heaven given to mankind by which we must be saved, which is our beautiful and wonderful Jesus Christ. Jesus answered, I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. So please, my friend, choose wisely, okay? All right. And let me say a prayer, too, before we go. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for these wonderful people here and those that watch later, just for the whole community and family around this. I appreciate it. And the fact I can be here so long as well, thank you so much for that. And also through all the people who've allowed me and helped me to be here so long, thank you. And just want to thank you for all things. You know, all good things come from you. So thank you for all the things you do. Look out for us, take care of us. You're always there for us. So thank you for that, Father. And I always pray that you help us to be a light in this world the best way we can, use our gifts and abilities to help others and lead them to you in whichever way you choose, Father. So thank you. I pray we're all found worthy to escape the horrors coming upon this earth. And we love you, Lord. And in Jesus' name I pray. Amen. All right. Thanks for allowing me to do that, guys. Not a preacher, pastor, priest, or prophet, but I love Jesus. I'm not afraid to say it. He's the number one thing in my life, right? Number one thing. But yeah. All right, guys, I'm over here in chat. Good to see you. Hey, Rico, Kava, Jaja, Noble, Ben Blanco, Jola, Goated, David, couple Davids. Nice to see y'all. Space Cow, Red Dark Side, you too. 3 Lucky. Hey guys, thanks again for being here. Like I said, I put a lot of stuff out yesterday, man. I dropped a new video yesterday and a live show last night, hour-and-a-half live show about AI gods. So please check that out. And coming up next, Uncensored on Monday, just in a couple days over on Grumble, 2 p.m. Central Standard under KJ Osborne. Hey, thanks, Jola. You're welcome. Thank you. And then for this week, I'll probably have my Olympics video. I'll finish that this week because I need to go watch some more from the Olympics opening ceremony. Some of the stuff I've seen already, it's like, all right, I can put that together, you know, so I'm going to work on that. And then I'll post up a show for Friday over here on YouTube. That's why it's good to please follow on Subscribestar. And I post everything there. You can keep up to date with everything I'm doing over there. And I may even have a new music video up this week. So I'm working on some things. Thanks again for your support and your prayers that I'm able to be here this many years. I appreciate you so much. Thanks, Sugar Zeros. Appreciate it. I'm glad you could make it. Good to see you, Christine Ritchie, Chili Peen, Min Lam. Thank you, Lucia Kitten. Love you guys, man. All of you. Bell Nort, good to see you. All right, you guys. So, hey, have a wonderful evening. Watch the fights if you're into it. Don't be mad at me. I'm just being honest. I'm not going to hide it. I like the fights. But I used to fight, years ago. I was in Taekwondo when I was a teenager for years. Anyway, yeah, so that, or do whatever you want to do, man. Just enjoy yourself. Be safe. Numero uno. Stay warm. See you in 2 days over on Grumble, and then I got plenty of stuff coming this week for us, okay? So thanks again. Y'all are awesome. Thanks again, Tamara, always. And take care. I'll see y'all in a couple days.